Hello and welcome to the podcast Dance Passion. We are now in Norway and we have two very famous guests in the swing dance world anyway.
Yeah, and we are really nervous.
Yes, and we usually do our episodes in Swedish, so this makes it double or triple nervous. But I know one of our guests is very good in Swedish, and
He'll help us.
He'll help us, and perhaps we can use Google Translate for Russian too.
Maybe. Ukrainian.
Ukrainian, yeah. We welcome Sondre Olsen-Bye och Tanya Georgiievska.
Yes.
That's what right? Yes.
Exactly.
Great. Welcome to Dance Passion.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Thank you.
We have had our first session with, you have had Boogie Woogie, of course, and we are at Lillestrøm, it calls, and there is Breddesamling. There are 3 dance floors, and it's Boogie Woogie, it's Bug from Sweden, and Norwegian Folkeswing. It's something like Bug, Boogie Woogie, and some other swing dancers.
Yeah, a little bit of maybe rockabilly jive as well,
Yeah.
feeling into it. Something like that, a mix of everything.
Yeah, just dance.
Yes.
Yes. You have just come home from Mexico.
See?
See, yes. What have you done there?
Well, we had a workshop. It was a workshop with the two of us, a weekend, where we were teaching Boogie Woogie and Lindy Hop. And then, of course, since we were traveling so far and to a place where we have never been before, we decided to also stay a few extra days for vacation purposes and just explore Mexico. So we were there for 1 week in total.
Okay. And how many days did you have workshops?
3.
Three, yeah.
Yes, I think it was Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you have different levels on your courses, or do you start with basic and then travel up?
It's mainly up to the organizers, actually.
Okay.
We teach whatever the festival requires or the organizers ask for, but usually it's you have a beginner track, and then you have an intermediate track, and then you have an advanced track. So
I think you meant in Mexico. Do you mean
Yes,
in Mexico?
yes.
No, there was no levels. Basically, it was one level, like a advanced level, but it was mainly about the topics.
Yeah.
So we got a topic, and then it was there were people from different levels. Some are more beginners, some are more advanced, but everybody was so open-minded and interested in everything we were saying. That's why it was really nice.
and I cannot quite remember how many hours we were teaching in total, but it was around 14 and 16 hours in 3
Something
days.
like that.
And more or less all the students took all the classes. So they were very excited. So yeah.
The last day it was 6 hours.
6 hours the
almost
last
like
day.
in a row.
Yeah.
And people were, it was, the room was under the roof. So outside it was just 23 degrees, but the roof was exposed to the sun, to the direct rays of sun. So it was like a little sauna there. And people stood all 6 hours. They were super excited, happy, like very strong and open-minded. So that was nice.
You can move the microphone a little bit closer to the mouth.
Even more? Oh my
Yes,
God.
more, even more.
I feel like I'm sitting in my own brain right now. Okay, is that good?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
But you have been competing for a couple of years, and it went quite good.
Yeah, I mean, it went really good. We coupled up back in 2015, and the first thing we did was actually we were teaching together in a French workshop, and then the workshop went pretty well, and we got a few invites to more workshops after the first one. And then I kind of manipulated Tanya to compete with me.
Can you try just one competition nationally with me? Just one, just to try, just nationally, just a little bit. Okay, let's do it.
And then we tried a few national competitions. And then in the end of 2015, we competed in our very first World Cup.
Yes.
And then after that, we were competing quite intensely from 2016 till 2019.
Yeah, 3 years.
And you became world champions
Yes.
in Boogie Woogie.
Yes. That's correct.
And European champions as well. And we had a lot of World Cup wins. Yeah.
Some Nordic titles as well.
Nordic,
Yeah.
Norwegian.
So I think if you think of the Boogie Woogie international competition, I guess we won all possible titles except the ranking list. We didn't get the ranking list,
No.
but the rest we got at least one. Yeah, so
Because we didn't travel to all the competitions.
that's true.
We were,
We're busy teaching.
yes.
So why did you stop competing?
It was natural. I think when you get all the titles you need, you have to go when you are still on the top. We still did the last World Championship though, after the pandemics, but that was more like we wanted to keep on a little bit more, but I think it was logical to stop already.
Yeah, and our original plan was actually, we spoke a little bit about it after 2019, which went really well. We had a very good year and we won all the competition we participated in, and we started to feel a little, tired. Not for the fact that we were just tired of the competitions, but like even though we were winning, we didn't feel that we managed to improve as much. So we talked about, let's do 2020,
And that's it.
and that's it. But then something called the pandemic showed up
Yeah.
and kind of canceled our plans. So we did one more championship after the pandemic. We didn't plan to do it, but then events, we got invited to some events, but then they got canceled again, and we didn't have so much to do basically during this kind of half a year. So we decided to compete for the last World Championship.
We wanted to do one more kind of year, but then we decided to cancel it.
So
After the
and of course the energy and the time is also, it is a big reason. I mean, we felt it already in 2019 that we had a good year, but I remember especially one World Cup in Norway actually towards the end of the year. I showed up and 10 minutes before the quarterfinal, which maybe it sounds cocky, but for us the quarterfinal in 2019 it was no stress. The stress was the finals. But I threw up. I had to run to the toilet to throw up, simply because my body was shutting down due to no rest. It was like travel, teach. We had
training.
I think we had a period of time where I did 11 weekends in a row in 6-7 different countries. You did 10 or 9. So it was simply too much, and our bodies couldn't cope anymore. And then yes, it's not a secret that we have loved competitions, but we started to get a little tired of it. I've competed myself since 2019 with several breaks, but still I've been in the game for a long time, so I still love it, but it's nice to also relax a little bit.
2009, you mean?
2009, yes.
Yeah.
Not 29, 2009. Yeah.
What did you dance then? Was it Boogie Woogie then?
Yes, it was also Boogie Woogie in 2009, but I started when I was 8 years old, which would be back in 2003-2, with kids dancing and the folky swing, as we spoke about in the beginning. And then also you have the double boog in Sweden.
Yeah.
We also have the double folky swing, if you want to call it. And we took part, this was before Tanya, way before, and we took part in the first edition of Norway's Got Talent, the TV show. Yeah. And we made it to the semifinal with live TV and stuff like this. And that's where I got to meet back then the Norwegian coaches of Boogie Woogie, which helped us with the choreo. And the coaches kind of forced us to take a Boogie Woogie beginner class. And that's how the snowball kept on rolling from my side, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. And what did you dance in the beginning? And when did you start?
Well, I started with the swing era of my life. Started with acrobatic rock and roll, if you still can call it swing, because it's hard to know. I was 9 years old, so I went for the acrobatic rock and roll. It was starting to be very popular in Ukraine back then. And after that, we traveled to the international competitions, and it was the same federation as Boogie Woogie, and we didn't know about Boogie back then, but when we saw these interesting legs coming up and down and no really bouncing, no jumps, and everything is so fun, we decided also to try, but it was, rock and roll people trying Boogie Woogie using the videotapes, VHS. So it was really, really funny. So we just learned from our coaches how they thought Boogie Woogie should be. And of course, later on, and I was back, it was when I was 14 years old. And of course, after that, we started traveling a little bit outside. And we also have Kyiv Swing Dance Club. And the guy who is the leader, he started traveling around and bringing also international teachers to Kyiv. So that's how swing dancing, like a real Lindy Hop and also boogie, came to Ukraine. And yeah, so my real Boogie Woogie career started with a conscious, not just learning steps from the coach from the VHS, but like conscious learning started 2009, I think. Yeah, something like that, as far as I remember. I hope I don't make it too vague for you.
No.
Okay.
It's good.
It's okay.
But this was in Ukraine.
Yeah. First it was in Ukraine.
And you live in Norway.
Yes.
At the same time you lived in Kyiv in Ukraine, and then you compete together.
Yeah.
How did it happen?
Yeah.
How did you make it work?
It sounds like really expensive practices.
No, actually, for quite some time, I think a year or something, we actually were living, me in Norway, Tanya in Ukraine, and we really met 2 weeks before the competition. And for
we're
those
traveling all the time.
Yeah, and for those who are into Boogie Woogie competition, then they know about the highlights or the small choreographed parts. It can be tricks, it can be solo jazz steps, this kind of stuff.
Somersaults.
Yeah.
Your backflip.
Exactly, the banana flip, as people call it. I always like to change that. So we met 2 weeks before World Cup, and I wanted to change all the stuff. And then we were like, so it was quite tricky times.
Like, I have a list of new figures I want to do. And I'm like, oh, no. It's like 2 weeks before the competitions. Let's change one maximum.
But how we met each other was we knew each other from the scene, obviously, before a little bit.
Story ever.
And we knew each other a little bit. And I was without a partner. And we also had a fellow good friend from Austria. Her name is Georgiievska Kaiser, some might know her. She's been in the Boogie Woogie scene for many years as well. And Tanya was about to stop with her last partner from Ukraine called Ivan. And she was basically the one kind of, like, you two should try to dance, because I like the both of you and I think it can work. So she was the one promoting it. And then actually in Harang Dance Camp, this was 2000.
It was before. No, the story is perfect. Okay,
Tanya goes for it. You have a better memory than me.
Yeah, I have a better memory for facts, because Sondre was still competing with Hanne, I think, with your previous dance partner. I was still with Ivan. We met in Harang Dance Camp, and in the Jack and Jill Fast Feet, it was 2013. We happened to be in the very final together as the couple who matched. So we win this competition, and funny part is that it was Marcus Koch who was collecting the points, like from the audience that has to scream, and people have to listen and define who is the winner. We won. I didn't get it, and because people screamed and everybody is happy, and I'm like, Sondre, who won? And he's like, it's us. So that was how we met first time, and we didn't even know each other back then. He thought I was constantly drunk because I'm a very happy person. I don't drink alcohol at all. He said, back in Harang, I thought you were like really, because he was hanging out with Pontus, Lena, with the Swedish gang. He said, we all thought you were drunk all the time. And I was like, no, I was just very happy dancing and stuff. So that was the first impression of Sondre of me. And then later on, after
and we can also say that there are quite some cultural differences between Scandinavia and Ukraine. It's like, we're a little bit calmer in Scandinavia, at least at first sight. Yes. And then we wake up. But the Ukrainians, they are on fire from the very first second. I think that was maybe also why I
was super rude, all the time, because I'm coming there and being there and hey, and Sondre's like, okay. And then imagine we went together, the competition in Harang. And then I think 2 weeks later on, there is a Rimini competition, the huge one, the World Cup, where everybody is coming, because it's not only the competition, but also the beach, the sun, the sea, everything. So we go there, and when I compete, I'm like very focused. I just walk around, doing my stuff, and I have not such a good vision.
Oh, you finally admit it now. She's so stubborn. I've told you need glasses or contact lenses. Like, no, I look perfect.
I am perfect.
Here in your podcast,
Yes.
you have
You are witnesses. Okay.
you are witnesses.
I will force them to cut this part out. Okay, no. But when you have like minus 0.5, so the face is like a little blurry, plus you're focused, plus it's competition. So I'm just focused on my stuff. I'm going there. And Sondre, I'm not sure if you were as tall already back then. So I just pass him by. I don't even say hello because I don't see him. And he thought I was ignoring him. And for the next, 2 years, he thought that I won competition with him, and I'm so proud that I just ignored him and didn't say hello. But I just didn't see him. I'm like, it's 100.
Her face was literally walking here.
Yes.
I was like, no.
But that's where you have to be less Scandinavian. You just say hello, Tanya, it's me. You remember? Yeah, so that's how we met. First, he thought I was constantly drunk. Then he thought I was too proud and rude and don't say hello to people.
And sober.
And sober.
That's even worse.
Yes. And I just missed him. And then I got to know this story like 2 years after. You can imagine. He comes to practice with me after Jessica says. And then he realized, okay, Tanya is just,
Ukrainian.
Yeah.
just being myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was basically like I mentioned a little earlier. Jessica kind of promoted the idea you should try together. Then I got invited to teach in France at an event there, and I needed a partner, and I asked the organizers, can I ask Tanya, because the organizers also knew about Tanya, and they were like, yeah, sure. So I wrote her. Yeah.
Didn't tell me that.
So I wrote her, asked, you know what, like, do you wanna meet up, make a show, and go teach in France and see how it feels like? She was like, yeah, let's do it. And we did it, and that's the beginning of the snowball that is still rolling. Yeah.
But what makes you so great for each other when you dance?
The fact that we are not matching at all, actually.
Yeah, I think so.
On a personal level, we don't match. We don't match on technical, physical level. So it's a constant work, figuring out, and it brings a lot of energy. Like molecules that are always clashing and crashing, they explode the energy. So when it finally works, it's like...
Yeah, I think so. We are similar in some ways, but then we're also very, very different in other ways. And I think this is probably what makes it good.
Yeah.
But we're not shy though. We feel very, very comfortable with each other as well, and we are not scared of like being ourselves. We never hold back. We just feel natural. So I guess
so.
Maybe
If we need to fight, we fight. If we need to laugh, we laugh. If we need to create something, we create. If we need to just leave the practice like a drama queens, we do it. Sometimes.
Which one of you?
Both, sometimes.
Okay.
We did it. We have to admit it. Come on, both.
I will admit.
The last one was you.
If we look at the whole career together, I think the most. I will admit it's me. But I'm glad to hear that she said it's both of us.
I learned from Sondre to be drama queening because I was too positive, like too drunk, as you say, like too always like. And then I'm like, okay, I have to fight back to kind of, to put it in the direction. So when I started fight back, we could spend like an hour like.
But I have heard that you are the one that makes the rules, that keep the order, and Sondre just follow along.
Really?
Ooh.
Who told you that?
I can tell you later.
Interesting.
Really?
We are very but I think we are two very, very strong personalities. We are extremely stubborn, both of us. But we still somehow fulfill each other. If we think in terms of business, Tanya is not the structured one.
I am structured one. Is that I don't like your structure. I like my own.
It depends in which ways. But at the same time, no, we really have our strength. So I think we fulfill each other. It's more like, it depends how you look at it. When it comes to, for example, like communication with people, Tanya is definitely the one. When it comes to more like raw ideas in the dancing, I'm the one. And then we fulfill each other.
Yes, then I take his raw idea, make it more structural, technical, to make it good for example, dancing or students.
Yeah.
So we are like, it's pieces. Have you read the book of Thomas Eriksson?
Surrounded by idiots.
Surrounded by Idiots?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I am yellow and blue. He's red and blue. So we have these blue parts that connect, but then we also have his red one and my yellow one that are just clashing and producing the
So
energy.
yellow and blue.
I am yellow blue. He is red blue.
Very, very yellow and a little blue.
No, I'm better.
When I read, she made me read this book, and it's funny, like the,
As a manual,
the description of yellow. It's Tanya.
Yes.
No,
But blue, okay.
But I admit that I'm a bit I'm quite a lot of red myself. So, but as the books say, like if two similar colors work together, it's not gonna work. You need a bit of everything, and we have a bit of everything. Not so much green though. But
yes, we try. I work
try.
on my green part. Like,
But,
I try to be less.
no, but
Less selfish.
coming back to but coming back to who if we talk in terms of like boss, I would say we are kind of 50-50.
Sondre is pointing at her.
I can let her think she's
As
the
we
boss.
say in Ukraine,
And
the man is a head, but the woman is a neck. She defines the direction of the head. So yes, he is the head for sure.
Yes.
Yes,
No,
yes,
we fulfill each other. If you ask Tanya how many hours we're gonna teach tomorrow, she will not know. For
One.
example.
I checked the schedule.
Okay, you did?
I'm
We're improving.
I'm working. Yeah. No, but we're constantly working on ourselves.
But we're
Honestly.
teaching very little this weekend, actually.
But actually, to be honest, this is inside information. We never tell it to anyone before, and I will tell it now. Sondre is probably very scared. But
okay.
what held us together in the beginning, when Sondre was still a drama king too much, is the people around us. So we got liked as a combination so much, but by very big events and big organizers. For example, Marcus Koch, he was the one of the first one writing, "Oh my God, you're teaching together. I really want you both at Rock That Swing." So something clicked, the combination. And then when we had because now we have our coupleship that holds us together. If the whole world hates us, we still have each other. But back then, like 7 years ago, we didn't have that togetherness yet, and we were so different personalities and so much stress around us that it was actually society keeping us together for a few years, because it was our coach Eirik who helped us on competition, and he saw that we're great together. Then it was competition, like judges who gave us first places. They held us together for a long time, because yes, we have stress, but then we win competitions. That means that we're worth something together. So it's not for nothing. Like maybe this drama queening and all these fights, they're like, they still like, they have some meaning. But through this process, we also managed to establish this connection. Now we grew to be a good couple. Now even if we have a quarrel, we still have sense of humor. And I mean, we can blah, 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 but then in 5 minutes, we just, okay, whatever.
And even though it sounds weird, but in some ways, I'm also very thankful for the fact that we actually went through that, especially 2016 and 2017. Because like I like to think, and I truly believe that for the fact that we didn't stop dancing with each other during these 2 years, that will keep us together till we cannot walk anymore. Because we had so hard times there, and this was also the period where we lived in 2 different countries. We met 2 weeks before the competitions, and I remember already in 2016, in our 3rd or 4th competition, people started to come to us and say, like, you guys will win the world championship one day.
Yeah,
so
imagine the pressure.
even though like you shouldn't listen to people, but it creates some, pressure inside yourself. So we felt a lot of pressure on our shoulders in some way. And it was tough times. But like Tanya said, now it's more like if we quarrel or we have a discussion, we still manage to be productive. Back then, we were drama queening, as we call it. We call it drama king, drama queen. Yeah. I can sit there and say Tanya was perfect and I was drama king. I can do it. I don't mean it, but you can ask our good coach Eirik, which is here, and he will tell you the truth that we're two shit kids, basically. No, but I mean, it's we were learning. But what I totally agree with what Tanya said. It was kind of actually the community and society that kept us together in the beginning, for sure.
Interesting. We tried to go to one of your classes today, but we realized it was a bit too advanced for us. But you seem to be very careful with the details. Really, yes, you.
That's the
Tanya.
blue, that's the blue part coming out.
Yeah. But I think it's great because these explanations you did made me understand how they should be done. But
Thank you.
is it just Tanya, or are you like that too?
I would say Tanya is an exceptional good teacher and a very, very good. How do you say that in English? In Norwegian, we say something called like a human knower. I don't think that's an English word, but she feels the people very, very well, and she. Don't get me wrong, but it's almost like she over cares for the students, which is a great thing. So it's more like if the people are super happy after their class, but Tanya is seeing that one person out of 60 people struggle, she will not be satisfied with herself or the class. So she's much more caring for the students than I do. Of course, if you cut just that part out, that sounds terrible. But she cares very, very much, and she's much more into details in classes than I am. I also care, but I give Tanya space because she's better at it than I am, which is really nice to see. And I think this is a big part of why also a lot of people like our classes for the fact that she is very, very, very detailed. And then here again, we're good to fulfill each other. It's more like, for example, I'm keeping more the structure of the class, these kind of things, and Tanya is more like probably explaining more, which I think is also a little bit rare in swing dancing. At least most of the cases and classes and instructors I know, you very often see the leader talking the most.
Yeah.
In some couples, you see the leader talking 100%.
Yeah.
While in our case, Tanya is probably from time to time talking a little bit more than me, but I am very fine with it because I see that what she says is
And
good.
I'm so thankful.
you know. So absolutely, like I would say, Tanya is more. I care, and I also like to explain, but I'm more easygoing in that sense, and I'm more like, I'm kind of Scandinavian in that sense. It's more like, okay, if I see someone struggle, but I have the feeling that they are not looking at me and want my help, I don't go there. Tanya don't care. She just like goes, takes someone like, you need to move here, you need to do this, like pa 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 pa. But in the end, it's a good thing. It's a perfect thing. I would like to be like that, but yeah, I need to get less Scandinavian, I guess.
Yes, Sondre is very polite, but but that's where we are the team. That's what we created together. That Sondre comes with the raw ideas because I'm as a follower as well. I cannot be the leader, and sometimes as a follower I know what I need to feel from the leader, but Sondre is very well creating the idea, for example, that leader has to also be able to do that, because sometimes what I feel might not be true for the leader, and then he's really well in doing these things and also bringing these ideas on the practices a lot. So in the class, yes, I make this structure, but a lot of the ideas, the movements, the principles and stuff is created by Sondre. So that's how we work. He is like a designer and I am like a constructor. Yeah, because I really like anatomy and all this studying thing, reading, watching YouTube videos about the muscles and all of these things. But a lot of things also came to us, I think, through our own mismatch. So what makes us good teachers is actually the fact that our body is not matching to each other. So we constantly have to think through how to improve our dancing. We never, there is a term, danced into each other. When you just stay in the couple and it works by itself. We never managed to create it
don't have that,
for a long period of time. For Sondre, there are other followers that would match him much better physically, like connection-wise. And for me, there are leaders who would match me better. But because we're conscious about it, we work constantly towards this middle. And that consciousness makes us to work out techniques for students, to go deep into details, the muscles, anatomy, skeleton, how it works, the dynamics, physics, biology, psychology. So it's like the dancing is not just, you just hold the hands and jump around. It is a lot of, it's all the sciences involved in this, and that's what, at least I love it.
Yeah, you can kind of say
You
that
know?
I go and get like some high quality lemons, I give them to Tanya, and she's making the lemonade for the classes, you know?
Yeah.
So we're a good team in that sense. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm so thankful, Sondre.
So it's
We're not all usually giving each other compliments in private. We always do
very
it
very
like when I-
very stubborn. We're very good at getting on each other, but we don't compliment each other. So thanks to you, we have a
Today you have done it a lot.
Yeah. Psychological session. We don't charge for it.
Yeah,
You should. Okay.
No, but I think also
Maybe I changed my mind.
yes, but also important to also mention in the end of the whole class thing why it works is that Tanya also has a follower. She's very strict in the sense that if I come with a move and I have a lot of crazy ideas like all the time, it's more like when we try it.
But you're talking about practice, training or
It can be
teaching.
it can also
It's
be teaching.
combined.
Okay.
Teaching
Yeah.
anything.
everything.
Yeah.
And if I come with an idea and then I want to try it with Tanya, she's not trying to adapt to me, to help me so we can teach the move because it's a cool move.
Try a little bit.
Yeah, but
But
that's true. But you would still follow 100%, and she will not be satisfied until I actually lead it properly 100%. And I think this is also why it's so much details in our classes, because like we really tried it ourselves socially. I tried it also with other followers, before teaching it, and we really try to teach real dancing. We just don't want to come there and teach them a cool move that actually isn't real. You know what I mean? We really want to give something that is really based on proper lead and follow and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So you can dance the figure or the routine with anybody.
Not necessarily anybody.
But you
depends.
don't have to have been on your class.
That's
Yes.
true. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more. I would dare to say that anything we taught together during these 7 years, me as a leader, I could go and do it with a lot of social followers.
Human tested.
And Tanya could follow it if that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm quite convinced about that because we, I know that there are couples teaching cool moves that are really, it's more like choreo, which is fine. I don't care, but it's like I don't wanna teach a choreo unless I call it a choreo, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sure.
Speaking about choreo, you have some really advanced acrobatic moves.
That's Sondre.
Yeah, that's Sondre, the banana flip you call. And you, Tanya, is jumping over him and under and around his legs and up again and on the beat. How long does it take to practice and how many bumps on your head do you get doing this? 3.
3. Yes. 3 on the head, 1 on the butt of Sondre.
It's interesting you ask. I mean, the funny thing is that, like, if we talk of pure acrobatics, we aren't so good. But we are good at creating our own stuff. So it's like we create creative things that suit us, that suit our proportion, that suit our body.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, I'm personally, I don't really like to look at ourselves. I watch it once and that's it, then I'm done. I can be satisfied with it, but I don't watch it much. But I do realize that for people, we are spectacular and it looks very, very cool, the acrobatics. And a lot of people ask us to teach aerial classes, so I get it.
We always laugh at that.
Yeah, we laugh because we don't really feel that we're so good in the classic stuff, the classical moves we're not good at. But we're probably good at creating our own
Principles,
creative principles into the dancing. So we like to be creative, but it has to suit our bodies and our connection together. Yeah.
But also we have almost the same size, almost the same height. So maybe for many people it feels like if we can do it, I mean everybody can do it because we don't provide this feeling of a classical, like rock and roll couple,
No.
like this guy 3 meters tall, this super tiny girl which weighs like 30 kilos. It's not us at all. So if it works for us, then it means it's a lot of technique in it. So everything we do it technically. It's no. But of course, when you create it and when you practice it, yeah, sometimes the mistakes happen, and we did have some fails on the practices. It's normal, I think, with everybody. But that's Sondre. That's where Sondre brings the ideas. He's like, I wanted that trick, and I'm like, oh my god, that's not gonna work.
So, sometimes I'm more like, Tanya, come here. You will stand on one hand and lift you up. But I sometimes believe I'm the Hulk. You know,
The green guy.
I'm not. But no, time-wise, I would say that usually like the idea itself, we try it and it works quite fast, and then of course we have to make it perfect. But we don't really spend a lot of time learning the different moves. It's more like if
working them out takes time, but learning it's like a few practices.
And I would say we are a little stupid in the head in that way. So it's more like if we have a crazy idea, we try it and then we see how it goes. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I would not recommend this, but
don't try this.
But that's why we are able to do like the creative cool things, because it's more like, at least in my head, I always I look at the stuff that people think is impossible. I think of that as possible, you know, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So yeah, that's probably why. So we have fun and we like to be creative. I mean, I love to do creative stuff. I'm more of, I respect all opinions, but I'm a little bit more like to just copy what everyone did before you. I find that a little boring. I respect it, but I find it boring for myself. I prefer to rather do something more creative. Or to do the same backflip that everyone did, but maybe Tanya can turn 360 degrees during the backflip, you know, like something like this. Yeah.
That's where I get skeptical.
But what do you practice for now? You don't compete? Do you do shows or...
Shows, classes, and general dancing. We want to do impros super comfortably. When we go out there to do an improvisation, of course, we practice also the new tricks.
Yeah.
So we stay fresh, interesting, but also we practice the dancing in such a way that if we go to the band and suddenly there is a jam or we have to perform an improvisation, that we do it good. Like that it's so we don't practice the moves, but we practice connection, that we can be performing but still relaxed. So it's a little bit different types of work. In competition, it's more like rough. Here we practice not to rush in a slower tempo, for example, and then how we connect, how much we want to give weight. If there is a lot of audience and I move a little bit too much there to the too much attention to the audience, how Sondre's connection will feel, you know. So we practice these things right now a lot.
Yeah, we have quite we have a gig actually also in Chicago now in a month actually. So we're gonna perform 4 new shows in Chicago. So we're doing some more shows. Then also of course like I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but like we focus quite a lot on social media now as well. So that's another point. It's more like what we realized is that in social media, the people that are not really that connected to the dance scene, they don't care that much what we do. They just want content. So that's another thing. We try to also create content that for social media, which it should not be the same. It should be variety, but at the same time, we cannot spend too much time on what we post, because what they want is a lot of content. So this is another thing on the top of everything Tanya said, that we also try to create some sort of content for social media, which is hard because it's changing all the time. Yeah. Finally, you're good in YouTube, and then TikTok appears, and then Instagram is big, and then Facebook made an update.
And you're all on all platforms?
We are on all, but...
TikTok is...
well, we are on TikTok, and we have many followers there, but I personally don't understand really how it works. It feels very random. So... we have it, but it's
Sondres project.
It's mostly Facebook and YouTube that we focus on. Of course, we have Instagram, but it's mostly Facebook and YouTube. Yeah.
Do you never feel like well, everyone must have seen what you do because you do so much on Facebook or on YouTube? Will they still go to see you on your show?
Yes, I think so.
You don't. So. You're not scared because you put out so much on the internet of your shows.
That they will steal our show?
No.
Or
to come watch.
Yes,
they will come watch. Yeah, they will. I mean, that's the thing. Like you watch. Okay, now it sounds probably very cocky, but you watch Michael Jackson on TV and then he's coming to your town. I mean, you want to watch the show again, even if you saw it 100 times on TV. That's where I say to Sondre, we have to keep old tricks for the routines, for the live routines that people just saw online, because they will want to see this banana flip or this kind of thing alive. It's like Michael Jackson coming to your town and he's not going to do his moonwalk. That would be terrible. I mean, I would be very disappointed.
But you do the moonwalk now.
Oh yeah, sure. Yes, but you know what I mean.
She's
here.
the new
So,
Michael Jackson. I'm joking. She's great, but she's Tanya, and then you have Michael. No, but I get your question. To me, I was actually thinking about this a few years ago. For the fact, I was thinking more of the people in the community. Because the truth is, like, most of the whatever followers we have on social media, they are actually not connected to the scene, but of course we have also many from the scene. And I was a bit like curious, like, they will probably either get tired of us or they will look at it, because of course we realize that if you're going to do social media, you cannot think the same as you think in the community. In the community, I think I want to do something creative all the time, but for social media, if I do a tuck turn, if I do it with my left hand, or if I do it with my right hand or the foot, in the community, they will care. They will think, oh, that was creative. But for the social media, they don't care. For them, it's the same move. And it's just 3 seconds. So I was curious about it. But what I realized now, what fascinates me after the pandemic is that when we're back now to the events and we see the people that we have seen for 5-6 years, it has the opposite effect. They are like even more into us than they were before. And I thought it would be the opposite. And I don't know why. Maybe it's for the fact that we posted a lot during the pandemic. And you know, when you watch someone on social media all the time, then you kind of get connected to them. I don't know. But I actually thought it would be the opposite. But no, it feels like...
Maybe people will get tired of us eventually.
Maybe.
That's where we will go.
If they do, no, but if they do, I fully understand it, because we do post a lot and we do dance a lot, so I get it. Yeah. But the good thing with social media is that you can click on one button and then you don't see us. So if it's too much,
I'm tired.
Or you can click repeat.
That's true.
Yeah. That's what my mom does.
But you had a year ago, maybe, you did a series with dancing in the Norwegian.
Dancing through Norway.
Yeah, dancing through Norway. It was beautiful scenes and really good cuts between places in the songs and dances. Did you do this yourselves? You did?
Yeah.
But you must have a camera.
Yeah, I can.
Man.
That's a teamwork.
I can start and then you take over, because it was a teamwork. But what's interesting with this is that the true story about it is that we stayed apart for 6 months because of the pandemic. Tanya went back to Ukraine. I went to Norway. Ukrainians were absolutely not allowed to enter Norway. Norway was very strict. I'm sure Sweden... No, Sweden was different. It's true, not Sweden, but rest of European countries at first were very strict. And to be honest, like back then, there was no information from Ukraine either. You know, like you had all these colors, red color, don't go, the green color. Ukraine was gray for the whole pandemic. And gray color meant we don't know, basically. So I was a little skeptical, you know, so I didn't go there. And it was hard to get Tanya in. But then eventually, after 6 months apart, she came and she stayed in Norway for a small, roughly a month.
A month, yeah.
So for 1 month, we produced all the content we did for the summer videos. So it was very intense work and fun, and it was we made it together, the two of us, and with my family, my mother, father, and sister. So it was mainly my father and sister that was recording, and we were using...
was like a management of places in Norway, because he really knows everything about Norway, and sister was a cameraman.
And we used the iPhone, just iPhone.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. And then we edited everything ourselves.
In iMovie.
And Tanya is, she's a very intelligent, smart person.
So I've heard.
So she really was reading about like Norway. She knows more about Norway than I do. And she was also like, you know, like this is where we fulfill each other. Because I was like, we need to make dance videos. And Tanya was like, no, we need to make videos that are longer with the history of the place we go and stuff like this. Then we agreed, you know what, let's make a dance video, and then we'll make a separate video of a vlog about the place. So we did, you know, like a video, a vlog, a video, a vlog. So the whole project turned out great. And even though this is not the main reason why our YouTube started to grow. I still believe it was the secondary reason it kept growing, if that makes sense, because the videos really got popular, and we kind of got recognized also as the couple that dances out in the nature. I wouldn't say I would not say we are not the first couple dancing in the nature, but we're the first couple
promoting
doing it so much. And maybe it's a coincidence, maybe not, but after we did it, I started to see in the swing dance community, everyone went outdoors.
But we had a concept. It was about Norway. It was about, because actually it was my idea, because I really wanted to learn about Norway more, and that was like a chance, you know, to travel through Norway and to dance on each place. So that was the main thing for me. But now we see that many couples, they just take a nice, you know, background and they just dance somewhere. And those videos also go very well, I guess. Yeah, it was funny because at some point someone told me that, oh, now everybody's doing it, and when I see someone dancing on the background, I always say, oh, it's Sondre and Tanya, you know, dancing. So at least for me, it feels very, very nice that we started this tradition to popularize dancing in nature or outside.
Yeah, because it's in
scenery.
Nature, it's on gravel, it's on grass, it's on in hills and
rocks,
not dance floor.
That's true, and also too, it's a good promotion for my birth town where we currently live.
Yeah.
Actually, all the videos except one video was recorded 1 hour
driving.
Where I grew up in Dombås.
Yeah.
So it's a very beautiful nature, and yeah, where I'm lucky to have a father that knows nature very well, even though he was a little bit too strict. It was more like we were like, especially one video we made, we were like passing, I don't know, like 14 beautiful mountains. He was like, no, it's not beautiful enough, we have to find the one. We're like, okay, let's go to the next one, but it turned out good. So no, it's cool. It was nice, and we are planning to do more.
You are?
Oh yeah, we just need time for it.
And we bought, you have a website where you sell in online courses.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we bought the Boogie Woogie course.
Yes.
It's really many lessons.
Yeah, five lessons.
It's from beginners to advanced.
It's the package you bought.
Yeah, the package.
Like all levels. Okay.
I think we have managed about 3 of them. So we have a lot to learn. They are really, really good. And you recorded them in
Warsaw.
In Warsaw, yes. In an apartment.
Very small.
Yes.
In your
small ugly apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. It was like when the pandemic hit Europe, let's say, it didn't take long before like people from the, I guess, all dance communities, but we know the swing dance community, started to do online dance classes. And I just knew from the very first moment, like, we're too late. It's not going to succeed. I was like, it's not, for me, it's not that it's about money, but still, like, you know, if we put some effort and make the classes, no one will buy it. I was 100% sure. Tanya believed in it a lot.
But that was my dream.
Yeah. She was pushing it, and I was
really
like,
wanted it.
I was like, I have no problem admitting it. I was like, no, it's not gonna work. Then some of our, like, what can I say, like friends that take a lot of our classes, they were like advanced dancers. Some from Italy, actually. They were like, can you make some course for us? And we didn't have much to do, you know, like everyone watching series on Netflix, you know, a pandemic. So we were like, okay, let's make something for them. So we made like we started with advanced course, and then we made it available for everyone. We made a little promo on YouTube, but we didn't have any at least I didn't have any idea that anybody else would buy it. And then we posted out there, and suddenly it said like boom, and people were buying and buying and buying, and we haven't had the time, unfortunately, to create more classes so far. It's still just the pandemic polling kind of stuff, but people are still buying weekly.
They are.
Yeah. So
that's great.
Tanya was right. I was wrong.
Yeah, my dream was to create an online dance school. Again, for this blue part of myself that I really like to collect knowledge, to store it. I write diaries for all my life, already like 20, I think, books. So it's like I felt for a long time that we are collecting a lot, but we never like release it anywhere. And these online courses, they came as an idea when some people from China, I think, wrote us asking, oh my God, you're dancing so well. It was again social media. Do you have online classes? And I was thinking, no, we don't, but that would be very nice. But we were in the middle of traveling all the time. It was Rock the Swing.
It was before the pandemic. I
Before.
guess.
It was 1 year before the pandemics. And I wish we had this time to record classes, but we still need to be popular enough to sell them, of course, to promote them to people. And then pandemic came. Like a perfect, like, thank you, Of course, it's bad to say it that way, but for some people, pandemic really brought a lot of opportunities, like resting, finally having some settlement, moving, like always, any crisis opens up some doors. So pandemic opened up this online classes doors for us because we really spent a lot of time on this. It was much more time than 1 month, I think, producing all the
and we were
classes.
I enjoyed the time, but we were a little crazy, like, making it, because it's more like we decided, okay, now we spend 1 day, let's make a course. And we work like 15, 16 hours straight.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, and when we're done, we need to do a promo. Because that's actually, you probably have an idea how this idea came up, but I suspect that somehow in our head, this is maybe where the also nature videos popped up, because we went outdoors to do the promo for each course. We did it in the Poland, the park in Poland. So we were dancing outdoors simply for the fact that the apartment is too small. We
And not
dance.
beautiful.
So we had to go outdoors, and then these videos got quite popular. It was just a demonstration of what we were teaching. So yeah, after like 14 hours working, like recording, mixing, whatever, let's go to the park in costumes and do the promo. Let's get it done.
It was so awkward a little bit.
Yeah. So no, it was fun time, but
we went too crazy, yes, into
we
it.
went crazy. But we want to make more here as well.
Yeah.
We have gotten a lot of good feedback. We are happy with the result, but of course, it was made in the pandemic in a very, very small apartment. So we would love to add some more class.
Very nice new idea. I will not tell it now.
No.
So it stays, the wish comes true. But we have a good idea to record new course. And I think it's going to be very nice for people.
And you recorded with the phone?
Yeah. It's we only used iPhone. We have iPhone. Which model is it?
11.
11, I think. With a stabilizer.
Yeah.
Everything you have seen on our channel, or more or less everything, is just recorded with iPhone. So it's my first Apple ever. First Apple ever, and I give it 6 out of 6. So that was cool. It was. Pandemic, of course, awful thing, but it was still to us an interesting time, and like Tanya said, it's like we're honest.
Well, we had a choice. We could have lied on the couch and ate chips and watched Netflix, or we can do something about it.
So,
but
like everything.
Why were you in Warsaw? Did you live next door or
next door? Yes.
Yes?
Well, next street.
Next street. Okay.
Next street.
Well,
But
the thing is,
it was easier to practice.
no, I mean the reality is that, like, after our period of where I was in Norway, Tanya was in Ukraine, I kind of moved in together with Tanya and her family back then in Ukraine for quite some months. And then they decided to move to Warsaw, to Poland. And I basically followed after, because we already were established and she had a family. It's much easier for me to follow her than her following me. So that's basically why we ended up in Warsaw, Poland. And it was a fun experience. And for me, I have no problem admitting it. Like, being a Norwegian back then, and if you would tell me like 10 years ago that I would live in Ukraine, I would live in Poland, I would be laughing, because I wouldn't believe so. But it was a good experience, very interesting. Different cultures, but a very...
So we got to know that it's a very developed part of the world. Eastern Europe, yes.
Especially when you are spoiled. I would say same for Swedish people. When you come, we're lucky to be in Scandinavia, like, it's rich, good countries. So I never thought of, like, living in other countries, and it was a interesting experience. But the main reason was it was Tanya. Like, that's why I moved to Warsaw, to keep the...
Warsaw was a fantastic time. Yeah. Fantastic city as well.
11 minutes from the airport. Better than the 4 hours we have right now.
Yes.
Oh.
Speaking of comfort of life, Warsaw was much more comfortable than we're living now.
And a tiny bit cheaper.
Yes, and a tiny bit cheaper. Yes.
Yeah, Norway is not the cheapest country in the world.
That is for sure.
Yeah, but the diesel is cheaper than in Sweden.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but not the gas.
Depends on the day, but yeah.
Yeah, it sure does.
I'm glad to hear that finally
Yeah,
we have something.
something that's
Something.
cheaper. Yeah.
Something cheaper.
You have about 200,000 followers on YouTube now. Do you live on your dance, or do you have any other works? And is it YouTube that pays, or is it the classes, or?
Well, it's everything in combination. I used to have work in Kiev before the war started
What did you
in the
do?
animation studio. They produce advertisement, they produce everything. It's production studio. So I was doing animations for 4 months before it started all. Yeah, and now, yeah.
But if you take all the time, I mean, if you look at our coupleship, it's been 7 years now. So these 7 years, without the 4 months that Tanya was working in the animation studio, we have fully lived off the dance.
Of the dancing, yeah.
And it's mostly been teaching and events and performances. But then, of course, when social media started to grow, we do earn some money there. But social media, it very much depends. Like, we will not go into details, but some months it's quite a lot of money, other months it's almost nothing. It depends on a lot of factors. So right now we earn a bit from everything, and
it's okay.
it's okay. Yeah. So
You survive.
Yeah, we established our brand in Norway. We registered firma, Sondre Tanya AS. So now we are like a unit that pays taxes, that pays salaries to us and to manager and secretary or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it started to be like official.
So now right now we make quite a good living, and it's quite a good salary. So we hope it keeps that way. So it's purely the dance and everything around the dance. Then also we organize a Boogie Woogie festival every year in my hometown called Boogie Feets Festival. But still it's connected to the dance. So that's
When in the year?
July.
Yeah.
Yeah, every year July except pandemic.
Tell me more about it. I have read about it, but please.
Well, it started again coming back to my father, which is a little crazy. It was.
Is he Ukraine?
What? He's more Ukrainian than Scandinavian for sure.
He's super open-minded.
His mindset is very
cheerful and very
No, it was when I finished high school, and this was when we started dancing. I was in my last year of high school, and then I don't know in Sweden, but in Norway it's very common to take a year off after high school. So I decided I will take a year off and try to dance. And then after the summer vacation, I told my father, like, it would be cool to have a dance festival, once, maybe here.
Here you go.
It took him 5 minutes.
In Dombås.
Yeah. It took him 5 minutes, and he started to call everyone, and he got sponsorship. Half a year later, we did the first edition. But that was in January in Dombås, and we have a lot of snow. It can go down to minus 30 easily. So we were like, we did it. It was a good edition, but too cold. And then we switched it to July, to the summer.
Many participants asked for the summer edition to explore more Norway.
Oh, but it was cold. To move the pianos and stuff, it was cold. And it's basically a festival which focus on boogie woogie, rock and roll, rhythm and blues, dancing, but also music. So we try to make a high quality, cool event purely for boogie woogie. Even though we like and we dance Lindy Up as well, but it's like, at least a few years ago, it felt more like Boogie Woogie don't really have a lot of cool separate events. It's always a part of something else, So that was kind of the idea, and now it started to grow, and we have, I would say, average around 16, 17 different nations represented every year. So that's, I don't know why, but it's very cool. So
people appreciate it. They appreciate pure boogie event, and they appreciate the care we put on it, and they appreciate the quality of teachers, of music, of everything about boogie woogie. That it's very much care about boogie.
And then also, this is my father's idea, but another piece of the festival is that we want to show a part of Norway and the Norwegian nature. So every Sunday, some people go home. Usually the Norwegians, they go home because they have seen the nature, and then the rest can stay, and we always have a nature excursion. So it's also, at least what we see from the foreigners, is that they really appreciate also the nature part of Norway. So it's very cool. It's a nice project. It's our little baby, let's say.
Where do I find the information about this?
Boogiefeats.com.
We put a link to
Yes, and it's getting a lot of Swedish people is coming this year, more and more. So that's interesting. It's
it.
cool.
Cool.
It's nice.
Yeah. The Norwegian nature is really beautiful.
Yeah.
We was talking about it when we went here. The way from Oslo and here was not so beautiful, but when you go out to the coast or up the mountains, it's really, really nice.
I would say it's quite similar to Sweden, and maybe I will be hated now, but I feel in the summer like the difference is that I feel it's a little bit more colorful and a little like fresher vibes in Norway. Maybe I'm wrong.
The grass is greener in
I have a bit that feel. It depends where you go.
Yeah, of course.
But sure, it's beautiful. I'm spoiled. I mean, I grew up basically in the beautiful mountains. I've seen it every day, so I don't think about it. But especially when we have people, the first time we had people coming from Ukraine and Russia, I remember, they were amazed. They were like sitting on their knees, smelling the flowers. I was like, what's going on, you know? But they were so amazed by the nature. So it's clearly fascinating, yeah. So...
It is, but if you also look at the map, Norway got itself really beautiful part of, you know, fjords and the mountains and a little bit of fields. Like, just the most beautiful part is just cut to Norway. That's why, of course, it feels maybe it's better.
It's something like Austria
colors.
or Switzerland.
It's very similar to Switzerland, that's true.
Mountains are always beautiful.
Yeah.
It's something that is, always in every country, I think.
And now you live here, both of you?
Yeah, in Dombås.
In Dombås.
How far is it from here?
4 hours.
For 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah.
More north, yeah.
And
towards Trondheim.
Yeah.
And you lived in Ukraine, in Kiev, when the war started?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, when it was 2014, the first start of the war, like there are 2 stages basically. I decided, I'm a panicking person and a mother as well. So I decided it's time, we need to leave Ukraine, like just to try other countries, basically. So we went for half a year in Germany, then in Poland. But then pandemic broke this kind of like living process. And we couldn't refresh the documents anymore. It was very many troubles with traveling and stuff, and it felt like, you know, life will change. So, and then in the middle of pandemic, our documents got expired, so we went back to Ukraine. And actually, I decided, okay, maybe it would be better to establish in Ukraine.
And speaking of I can confirm that because, you know, I was traveling much with Tanya, and before the war, to see the treatment of Ukrainians around Europe was kind of disgusting. Like, just check,
in Poland,
for example, the passport.
Very many, much nationalism.
But also the passport, like the way they check the passports at the airports is like, it's really, I would say, like discriminating. So like for me, I understand how the world works. I understand that now because of the war, we focus on Ukraine and everyone says it's such a great place, but that was not the case like before the war. And I can confirm it. It's like when you say it's hard with the documents, it's super hard. And this is sad to see. So I really hope that
it will change.
The world and Europe can learn from this, that let's actually appreciate and look at all the countries before a catastrophe or a war take place, you know. I hope so.
Yeah, my son was bullied at school because he's from Ukraine. Like, and it was international school in Poland, so you can imagine.
But why do they bully him? And what are the arguments?
Well, it's I don't want to be like very because you don't never know where you say something wrong towards the politics, but it's normal thing. Like, it's 2 neighboring countries, and there are many workers coming. Like, you know, you have Polish people coming in Sweden and Norway to work in the farms, at least before. Now it was the same case with Ukrainians coming to Poland. So mainly a lot of people who wash the floors, who pick the berries, who do the things like this, they were from Ukraine, and it's like a cheap working force. And then, you know, when you have many people like this, you always have a part of people who appreciate it, and who have businesses, and they really actually understand that it's a good investment in the country. Then there is another part of people who are more nationalistic and who are going like, oh, they're taking our jobs, they're taking our places. Oh no, we see Ukrainian. It was like in the bus, it was a big fuss about the fact that they put it in the bus. 3 languages, I think it was Polish, or 2 languages, Polish and Ukrainian, like some announcements in the bus. And there were a lot of people saying like, oh my God, now they want to make Ukrainian second language in Poland. You know, this promotion of not hate, but kind of this feeling. So now it changed like in one day, you know, but before the war, it was a little weird from time to time, even though I'm very open-minded person.
Yeah, but even though this is not bullying, but same in Norway. I mean, shame on Norway for that. For 2 years before war, 2-3 years, we really tried to establish a firma, a company in Norway with me.
So I could be paying taxes in Norway as well, like, you know, to make it a bit more.
Because he was Ukrainian.
Yeah.
They didn't say it, but it was because of that. And I will not go into details, but like even the police in Norway told me more like you should lie about her position, maybe not as a dancer but something else to make it work, which is like insane to me.
Maybe better say you're a girlfriend or boyfriend, you know what I mean? To like, get her another status, and then through this status open the firma, and we were like, no.
And this came from the Norwegian
unfair,
police.
You know?
And then the war happens. 1 week we have a company. You know, because of the war. So it's like, I'm more like, come on, it's like, it's ridiculous a little bit. But I guess that's how it works. So it's sad. I just hope like we can learn, you know, from this situation.
Yeah. So we decided, okay, like all puzzles together. And also I realized that time that we most probably will divorce with my ex-husband at the time. So we decided, okay, it's time to move back to Ukraine. I go to my parents with my son, and my ex-husband will go here. We are good friends. Everything is perfect. We established amazing relationships. Actually, it was just normal thing. So we went back to Ukraine. It was 2020. New Year, like December 2020, and then I stayed there, and we were living there, establishing there. Sondre also came there to practice for the World Championship. I got myself a job, so it was perfect. I mean, to be home, come on, like no matter where you lived in the world, to come home to your own country, your own city where you grew up is amazing. But the atmosphere, to be honest, even since 2014, when I was leaving first time, and in 2021, when I was leaving there second time, the atmosphere really changed. It was something in the air. I could feel it, like the news, maybe the people, like the atmosphere was really scary. Like 1 month before the war, I don't know, like everybody was shaking. Also because the news, like our news say it's gonna be fine. Ukrainian news, international news were full of, warnings. And then we had friends in the embassies, and when the embassies started leaving, you could understand, okay, something will happen for sure, but no one knew what exactly. Like, is it going to be like attack on the eastern part, or maybe they will do something next to the Crimea? Like it was not clear what. And then one night before the attack, no one was sleeping, at least from my friends, from my family. So it was really, really like, so human beings are not so far from the animals, actually, in that sense. I think that we also are able to feel danger. And it was the first time when I felt danger. The same way, like, I don't know, animals maybe feel tsunami or earthquake. I think the whole country felt it on some level. Yeah, so no one was sleeping, and I was ready with the suitcase as well. So it took almost like no time to wake up and just take my child with me and leave.
But it was very strange because I was living there as well, but I escaped or went to Norway 10 days before Tanya went, or 14 days, 10 or 14 days.
Mm-hmm.
And it was weird because, like, of course, like Tanya said, the news went crazy. I mean, my friends, my family started calling me and say, "You're stupid. You should leave the country."
Mm-hmm.
And they tell me now, like, "You were dumb. You know, we were right." And I fully admit it. I was wrong because I stayed for a long time. I stayed till the government called me physically and said, "Get out."
Mm-hmm.
You know? But it was weird because, like, I spoke to so many Ukrainian people, and they said, like, nothing will happen. If it happens, they will just come in, it will be a vote, and it will not happen anything in Kiev, you know? So I was like, okay, whatever, I will go home. But like the atmosphere was so telling me that nothing will happen. And so I even packed, you know, like I went home. I knew I would be home for like 1-2 weeks and then go back. So, and I have had a lot of, because I moved to Kiev, so I had a lot of stuff there. So I brought like the ugly clothes with me home that I was planning to, you know, like not wear anymore, and ready to go back. And then suddenly just like everything changed. So this was strange to me. And it was also strange because I opened Norwegian news half a month before the attacks, and it was saying stuff like Kiev is out of electricity. Some friends called Tanya and said like, do you guys have water? Yeah, she's living in Sweden, and she called because the Swedish news says that Kiev is out of water and it's panic in the main street.
And people are in the basements, and it was 1 month before where it was full of cars in the Krishatik street. I was in the traffic jam.
Electricity was there,
okay
water was there.
Before New Year's.
No one was stressed in the street, so this was really weird, like super strange.
How people got to know about it. Yeah.
So even though I was totally wrong, because everything that the news and especially American news said this time was spot on, but it was a very weird to be there, you know, before.
Yeah.
But which normal person in the 21st century would think that these kind of things can happen? I mean, of course, everybody said nothing will happen. Like, it's the common sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just now we realize it's the reality, but before no, of course not.
Well, I was there just a few weeks before the attack, but I still struggle to actually realize that I know it's happening. I know people that are there, but it's still hard for me to actually understand that it's actually happening and how it's happening. It's devastating.
What did you feel, and how did you react when the war broke out and you know that Tanya was left alone with her child?
Of course worried, but she was like with her ex-husband.
Yeah, he brought us to the border by car.
Which helped them to escape, and of course I'm worried. We were staying in contact as much as we could, but it was bad connection. But yeah, Tanya's ex-husband is a good friend of me, and like this guy can be the president of America one day if he wants to. He's a rock. So I was not worried for these guys. He's smart.
But also...
And they were strong. So like I was not so worried for them. And they also told me that they had a very clear plan. They would go to another border than all others and stuff like this. So of course I'm worried. I'm not going to lie. But I was more like, they will be fine. They will be fine.
Also, the fact that we were early enough, and for that reason, I was posting a lot of stories on Instagram, because a lot of people from all over the world started writing what's happening. Like, people called and already 7 in the morning and asking and talking. So I decided, okay, this is actually where Instagram finally can be used for something useful, rather than, you know, I ate this nice coffee today and drank this tea and stuff. So I started posting stories. Where are we, for the sake of these thousands, hundreds, I don't know, messages, to show where am I. That everything is all right. Also for Sondre's sake, that we are going with a map. Now I understand it was so stupid. Like, but you know, in the beginning of war, you don't think like smart. You know, you just run and do something. But now I understand that to post a map with your location, like seriously, yeah, that was very, very stupid. But
well, talking about it, when you asked like if I was worried, I just got a flashback that I remember. For their sake, I was not so worried, but I got a flashback for like 3 days straight. I was like sleeping on the couch, watching the news, you know, like 24/7. So I didn't feel so stressed, but I felt very connected to Ukraine. You know, I was watching BBC, I was watching the Norwegian news, and I realized like I was so tired probably because I was watching the whole day, you know, like the whole night. And like during day 3, I am not sure if it was like that for the 2 first days. But at day 3, I realized that they stopped sending, you know, like new news after like midnight. So I was sitting the whole night just repeating the same stuff I've seen the whole day without realizing it. So maybe this is why I didn't feel so worried, because I was just constantly sitting, you know, watching the TV.
That was everyone did. Yeah. Like, we escaped when we came to Donbas, and the 12 hours you just scroll the news. Yeah. Like on Telegram.
But then I also have some, I would say, I have some good Ukrainian friends that are still there, you know, like they're still in Ukraine, and they are sharing the truth, you know what I mean, which which is nice because like it's a bit hard to know what is true and not true with the news sources and stuff like this. So I also have certain people that I know can fully confirm and tell me the truth, what's actually going on, which is a bit more. It's not making me calmer, but it's more like I know what's up. So yeah, but of course it's crazy. I mean, like Tanya said, who would think this could happen? I mean, like it's insane.
Does your parents live there still?
My mom, she chose to stay. We had this, like, as I said, dramatic movie moment when it was 5 o'clock in the morning. I woke up from the explosions, and then I say, okay, Mom, we have to leave. And she's like, nope, I'm not leaving. She's 74 years old, and she's like, I lived here all my life on this street. As long as I'm here, nothing will happen. So she is this super strong woman. And she has cats and plants. Of course. Where would she go? But maybe many people are like this. They didn't leave because it's their home, you know. So I took my kid and we just left, and that was also a very big like moment for me to, you know, like you see in the movies where you have a choice. Like I cannot stay with my mom because I am a mom myself, and for me, the life of my child is much more important than anything else. But I have my mom and my brother and sister-in-law and his 2 daughters, and my father chose to stay as well, even though they could leave the country. They are of age, and they could have, but no, they chose to stay. So I was like, yeah, it's the guilt, a lot of guilt in this. It's a lot of confusion in this, but yeah, you have to work it out with psychologists, to be honest. All these feelings, also the guilt of survival. There is a syndrome of that. People who left, survived, and then they feel guilty for that. People who did not come to fight, they have guilt. Like the whole country and all citizens are somehow got little damage in any, like little or big damage, physical or mental, but mentally for sure. The whole country has some syndromes in their mind. Like I had this guilt a lot, like towards my mother. But right now when I talk to her, she's more like, yeah, what would I do in Norway? I would be so depressed here. I have my life in Kiev. I have my cats. So she seems so happy. I even somehow suspect she's so happy I left because I stayed with her for 1 year. So she's like, yay! I have my cats.
I'm free.
I'm free, yes. Of course, it's joking now, and we always, like, it's our family. We always find something to joke about. Sense of humor saves the world. But yeah, like, that's how I feel myself. Okay, maybe if she left, I cannot imagine her in Dombås. Like, no way. She would be very.
But she's quite
sad.
Okay now.
Yeah. They are in the center of Kiev. Like, I mean, hopefully nothing happens. Like every day, I hope nothing happens. We talk every day. She sounded down only once. That's where I got worried. In my whole life, I never saw her being down the mood. She's always like, everything's gonna be fine. We'll kick asses, you know. Even during the war, she is the strong one. But once I heard her, I called her 1 month after, and I feel the mood is like, yeah, like I feel she's like giving up. That was But then like 1 week later, we kick asses, everything is fine. I'm happy, you know.
Yeah. She. That's what I mean. She's like Tanya in that sense. She's a fighter. She's like a bulldozer, you know?
Yeah.
But also she's positive. She looks positive on any situation, which Tanya does as well. And this will, I think, you know, like, even though it's totally unimaginable what's happening there, but still, like, if you look positive on life, no matter where you are, it will still bring you forward, you know? Yeah. So, yeah. She will be fine, and they will be fine.
But you both are very, very positive. At least when I see you online, on Facebook, and on your classes, you must have 1 million friends, and nobody hates you, right?
Well, we have our little community of haters, I would say, but we acquired it through the years, and as my mom says, she's a child psychologist. She says that, as my son tells me, until you have haters, you are not big enough. He's like, when you have haters, that means you're big enough. And I'm like, thank you for support. My kid is like, he's awesome. So, yeah, because we grow and because we get a name, of course, we will get situations where we step on someone's toes. And that also happens to us. And it's not about us, actually. It's mainly about the people, what they feel, what they expect, what they see in us, what they want to see in us. Yeah, it's about how, like, you know, you have something you give and something something people receive. So sometimes it can be a problem of the giver. Sometimes on the receiving part there might be some issues already. So what we see that our haters, let's say, we call them haters, not haters. I mean, criticizing part of people. I feel a lot it's about what they think about us rather than what we are.
But I think I would say, like, coming back to these friends and positivity, if I'm going to be bloody honest, I'm much of a pessimist in life, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I'm never satisfied with anything. Like, never been, never will be. I mean, but I'm more like, you know, I'm thankful for whatever I achieve or we achieve, but then I'm more like, it's done, let's move on to the next thing. So Tanya is much more positive than I am, that's for sure. Coming back to what I mentioned earlier, like the book, if you have read the book, you know, red, yellow, it's, you know, it's two different mindsets. But and when it comes to with his friends, like on my behalf, I would say that, yeah, probably I have like 1,000 friends, but at the same time I have 0 friends, if that kind of makes sense.
Even me?
Okay, 1.
You are more than a friend. You are
So 1 friend.
yes, you are my everything. That's how. No.
That's what he learned in these 7 years.
No, but I mean, like, of course I have friends, but it's like, yeah, I have many friends, but I don't have many like really, really, really close friends. But I think that's more my own fault, that I'm not letting in. You know, I'm not letting in people. I let them into a certain point, and then after that, it's me, myself.
I thought it was Scandinavian point.
Me, myself,
No.
and I.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's
No.
just Sondres thing.
Yeah. So.
Dombos.
Yeah. No, but I think it absolutely. I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy in life with everything. I'm happy. It's just that I'm very. I grew up like in a small place, and I also like did dancing. You know, like when I was a teenager. Boogie Woogie was not when I was like climbing, like people made fun of me. Of course, like I think the modern society is different, but back then when I was small, it was more like people were joking about, for example, me being gay. People were putting these rumors all out. I didn't care about it. I never cared. I grew up in a family that is like making a lot of fun of ourselves in a good way. But I grew up and, you know, like people were always trying to get on me, which maybe created like a shield. It's more like I just knew what I am, and I'm more like, you guys can make fun of me, say whatever you want. You can get on my size or hair color, right? You know, I have it all perfect for bullying. Redhead, short guy. But it's like, but I was like,
But that made you actually special.
probably.
In the dance scene,
Yeah.
everything you were bullied for has become your strength because you are adorable.
But I never.
You weren't still.
I was never
Did you
ever.
hear? You are adorable.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will cut it
This
out.
is should get more often on this podcast.
Yeah.
No,
No
but
problems.
Exactly. No, but
You're welcome.
I think it's like maybe this built a little shield, but I was never like sad about it. I was more like, you know what, like I know what I stand for. I know that I will be successful no matter what. I might not win competitions. I might not be a professional dancer, but I will be successful in life. I've always knew it in one way or another.
That must be a great feeling.
Yeah, it's a wonderful feeling. But I think it's the pessimistic part that is like, it's also helping me because I'm very realistic. So like I can tell myself I'm gonna be the greatest of whatever, but I will push myself there. I will not just say it. I don't say anything without doing anything. I'm more like, if I have a goal, I work for it, you know. But the coolest thing is that I wasn't bullied a lot. I would not say that, but people made fun of me. But the funny part is that like when I finally succeeded, and you know, for the people locally succeed me, that meant winning.
He's like a superstar.
So when I won the titles, you know, like every time we have like a Christmas party where all the locals meet for Christmas, go out to drink, the ones that were making most fun of me and bullying me the most, they come behind my back and they serve me a free drink. And they're like, "Oh, you're such a good person." I'm like, thank you very much. But I know in the back of my head, okay, you have guilt, you know. So that's fun. That's a fun feeling. I enjoy these few drinks.
Guilt. You have to work it out.
But no, but of course I like people. I'm very happy. Just like, but I think also for me here we're opposite. But I think for me, for the fact that we meet so many people all the time, that I'm more like I need my time alone as well. I
Yeah.
need some rest from people. So maybe that's also why, because I always get to see people. But being here, it gives me a lot of energy, and I am very easygoing. I am very smiley around people naturally. But at the same time, I'm very pessimistic, if that makes sense. I don't know. Pessimistic about myself, not about others. Yeah. Tanya is the complete opposite.
Yeah.
She wants 1,000 people around her all the time.
Yes. People, more people. Yes.
But do you live together now?
No.
No.
No, I have my own house. It's
Yeah.
actually weird confusion because maybe we did something wrong with our stories or somehow postings. Everybody thinks that we live together in Dombås, but actually not.
Okay.
So the story is that after the war, I came with my kid and with our friend Anna to Sondres' parents' farm. And we stayed there 1 month before commune. Yeah, it was a confusion. No one knew what to do with us. I mean, refugees coming, and we are not the same refugees, for example, as the ones from Somalia, because there is one procedure for refugees from this country, then we are Ukrainians. Should we follow the Somalian procedure, or should we go, because it's a pretty hard procedure, it's very long, but the war just started, people coming, you need to react fast. So the management wasn't there yet. So people just came somewhere they could come. So we could come to Sondres' farm. And that's where we stayed for 1 month, like where Bogdan got his depression in his space room, whatever. I was in my depression with the news all the time. It was like, yeah, it was crazy. So from that time, we don't have much posting. But then in 1 month, commune gave us a communal house for me, my friend Anya, and Bogdan. And we started living in there. And Sondre stayed at the farm with the parents. Yeah, and that's how it is. But we come often to the farm, visit. And Sondre comes often to our house. But
So
we're
I mean,
like,
but we basically see each other every day, and like almost
Yeah.
everything we post, we are together. So I totally understand that people think.
But
so.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure how it happened that people think that we actually live together.
But I don't know that Dombås is more than 2 houses.
yes,
We have
yes.
4 houses.
Yeah, there you see.
We actually live almost 20 minutes away from each other.
Is Dombås that big?
Because he's living out in outskirts.
Tanya
I'm a
is,
city,
Tanya is not,
city girl.
like I said earlier, she's not so structured and good with schedules. And so it's not 20 minutes, it's briefly 6. But
No,
in Tanya's
it's not
world,
6,
in Tanya's
because
world,
every time you come to pick me up for the practices,
because
you're
I
like,
oversleep.
I
I
am already leaving
oversleep.
the house, and then I calculate 20 minutes. So he's driving.
I'm lying. I'm already in bed at that point. I'm saying I'm in the car, but I'm in
already
bed.
in the car driving to you, and then 20 minutes after Sondre arrives. That means it's 20 minutes.
I like to sleep. No, it's 6 minutes away.
Now we discovered some truth.
It's 6 minutes away.
Okay.
Okay, 10.
But I feel sorry for Tanya in one way though, because she comes from a city that had, well, unofficially before the war, 5-6 million, something like this.
5 million people.
5 million people
From
to a
3 to
country
5.
that has like 5 million people all over.
All over the country.
You know, and Dombås is like the whole commune is 2,500 people.
Yeah, it's like
So
Kiev
of course, we
spread around.
don't even have traffic lights, you know, in Dombås.
Ooh.
So that's how small it is. So
Yeah.
But do you like it in Dombås?
Yes, I
Or do you
do.
want to move to a bigger town?
we both want to move. I mean, closer to the airport for sure.
Yeah.
We had this discussion all the time because we see it a bit differently, the moving part. But yeah, I would love to move to bigger town. But I cannot say, the thing is that I'm very thankful to what happened in Dombås. I don't know how else I would manage myself without, without Sondre's family and stuff. The only thing is that it was not really my choice. Like if I would be moving to Norway, maybe like if I think it's no war and I just do it by myself, I'm finding myself maybe a job, like I establish my money, I go to Oslo, because that would be my choice. I'm so sorry. I love Dombås, but still, maybe I would.
It's okay. It's just that Tanya, she really said this at some point. You know, like if I don't move to Oslo, then I can rather stay in Dombås. So for Tanya, it's either Oslo city center or nothing else.
Yeah, because I
Which is, if you think of Norway, we
Dream
we
big, huh?
still have quite a few cities, and we still have a lot
No,
of nice places outside Oslo. But she's, you know,
but for
stubborn.
me, I'm not just stubborn. For me, it's more like I love Dombås for what it is, actually. But then if I want to choose the city, it has to be something at least as close as possible to Kiev. And there is nothing close as possible to Kiev
That is true.
than
That is
Oslo.
true. Yeah.
Like Oslo is 600,000. No,
It's a
600,000.
little less, but maybe.
700,000 people, and it's still not even a big city in Ukraine, you know, like. So for me, Oslo is the place. Otherwise, it would feel just an empty move. I would go there, I would like it there, but I would still long for bigger city. And here I speak not just of that I'm a megalomaniac and I need something big around me. No, it's about like opportunities. For example, Bogdan likes to do trampoline, like you know, this
Her
trampoline.
son.
My
I don't
son,
think you
Bogdan.
said his
Yeah,
name
Bogdan.
earlier,
Like he loves trampoline things, and he's like, "Mom, can we go to trampoline?" And I'm like, "Okay, I will Google it." Oslo. Okay, perfect. Then the next one, he likes to go to the pump dancing. You know, it's like dancing machines where you have a screen, and then this it's very popular in Japan. I want to do this. Okay, I will Google it. This is Oslo again. Okay, maybe Hamar. Then whatever he asks for as an opportunity and whatever I Google as an opportunity is always in Oslo. Or it's easily accessed in Oslo. Okay, it can be also existing in Lillehammer, like for example, DNB or money exchange place, for example. But it's working only from Tuesday to Friday and maybe like only first half of the day, and you have to have appointment 3 months in advance, and then you have to order this amount, and it's so much trouble. Like in that sense, I must have a big promotion to Ukraine and Eastern Europe in generally the services, the speed of services, the price of services, and the accessibility. Wow! Like I realized it, and many Ukrainians in the chats they also share it. We all realized how developed Ukraine actually is. Uber, you want to eat sushi? Boom, half an hour you have sushi. You want to do a haircut 2 a.m.? You go and do a haircut in the 2 a.m. You will find this opportunity. Like this freedom of doing things, unfortunately, it's not there.
It's not in Dombås.
Anywhere.
It's not in Dombås.
Anywhere. And Oslo,
It is other places than Oslo, but fair enough. I let her have her own imagination.
But like this accessibility, the Oslo is the closest city to these opportunities you can have in Kiev. Of course, still far, but the closest. I'm sorry, I don't want to offend Norwegian people. They are amazing, and the structure is amazing. It's just that, I'm used to this.
Where do you want to move?
Well, I want to live closer to the airport. I don't mind which airport, and I don't mind where I live. The reality is that with our busy schedule, we don't really have the time, you know what I mean, to enjoy a lot of the city if we would live in the city. And why I wouldn't necessarily go
so
for...
Gardermoen.
It can be Jessheim, it could be Lillestrøm, which is basically 20 minutes away from Oslo if you want to go there. And another thing, if we talk of Norway, of course, is that Oslo is like, if we talk of prices, it's like up there compared to all other cities. And we have a lot of beautiful cities and a lot of other airports in Norway. So I wouldn't go for Oslo, but at the same time, I grew up at the farm. So I am used to cows and not people. I mean, again, like...
Sondre doesn't like sushi at 2 in the morning and doesn't do his haircut also somewhere on Sunday evening. Yeah.
No, I'm fine, but nearer airport for sure. Yeah. So
yes.
To be continued.
Oh yeah.
For sure. Now we are on this stage of thinking how to manage it all, because obviously for Oslo I need more money for sure. But at the same time, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I will be happy not in the very Oslo, but a bit outside of it. But I cannot know until I check it out.
Yeah, we will see. For me as well, but again, I'm used to a farm. I could run naked around and no one would see me. This freedom, and to live
Petting cows.
Yeah, and to live in like a block. And you hear the neighbors here, there.
You see how differently we see freedom.
I hate it. I feel like in a prison,
I'm more on your side.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I would more go for Yeah, it sounds probably depressing, but I would rather live in a forest. No, but like I feel
You have
better.
to take a airplane license.
Yeah, fly myself.
Yeah, fly yourself.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
We have to
At
collect
least
money
to
for the
Oslo
airport.
and
Yeah.
change plane.
Yeah, it's true.
I was thinking we have to build the airport in Dombås. It would be actually easier than to
Yeah.
move to Oslo.
That's true.
Förmodligen.
Yeah.
Cheaper anyway.
Yeah,
It
a
would
lot
be cheaper
cheaper.
than to live in Oslo, yes.
Yeah.
So
Speaking about haircuts, you had a ponytail for a while.
Oh yeah.
Why?
It was no, you know what? Like
pandemic hairstyle.
yeah, it was just pandemic. It was like I.
All the barbers are closed.
No, the thing is, it's more like I always, as a kid, I don't know, but I feel it's like a boy. Your son is the same, or was the same. Like,
Yeah, now
I
he's
always wanted to have long hair when I was a boy, but it never fit me because like my hair, it's like I look like a palm tree, it grows like boom, looks terrible, looks like a Beatles haircut or something. So sometimes I try to have a bit longer, but then it was hard because it's super thick. My hair is super thick. So to fix it, like backwards, even in the vintage style I did for many years, it takes a lot of time because it's so resistant. It goes forward. It's like Donald Trump. It goes forward naturally. And then during the pandemic was like, I was like, I was really enjoying it at first. After the news came, cancellations and all that shit. I was like, like eating chips, like drinking beer, having a blast. The beard was growing long and the hair was just getting longer. And then
Caveman.
basically, and then I was like joking, more like, oh, I can almost make it into the bun because the bun was like the man bun was very popular back then.
Yeah.
And it started as a joke, and then it just kept growing, and then I managed to actually put it in a bun. And it was super comfortable. I didn't have to fix it or anything. I wouldn't say it looked really, really good, but it didn't look like really, really bad either. So I just did it. And that's just why I kept it for quite some time. But oh my God, speaking of haters online,
That's where they came.
they came and it's still comments more like, yeah. So
You should remove that bun.
but at some point,
I love the bun, the hair.
but my
because-
hair without the bun, it looked so bad.
No.
Oh yeah. I'll show you some pictures after.
Yes,
You will-
please.
oh, it's so greasy. It's so thick.
No,
it's like,
girls would be very jealous because it's thick, it's beautiful, this color, it's very like, like in the reklama of some shampoo, you just do like and the hair flies. Totally. Very good.
yeah, no. But you might know, since you're Swedish, you might know our new football star Haaland. You know him?
No, football is not our game.
Okay, but he's like we can call him the new Zlatan.
Okay.
He's like one of the world's best football players now. And he has my haircut, but after I had it. So I would say I inspired him to have
You're a real
the bun,
trendsetter.
the bun with I'm the trendsetter. I like to think that. No, it was kind of fun to just try something new, but I will not go back to it. Simply, it was comfortable, but it's not really my thing.
No.
And now I prefer actually like. I think maybe it's also for the fact that the pandemic changed everything. And also I feel the swing dance community, like before pandemic, it was very much about like vintage style to look as vintage as possible. I enjoyed it. Now, not so many people are dressing so
are
much
lazy to
vintage
dress up,
anymore. It's like
probably.
it feels more like an effort to do it. If I dress up like crazy vintage, it's like nobody else does it. At some events, it feels a bit like, it doesn't
Like you don't need it anymore
You don't
that
need it.
much.
So like now I changed my hair. It's shorter. It grows more naturally forward, and it's much more comfortable. Instead of standing there with like normal people, they have like a hair dryer, some gel. It's fixed. I wasn't like that. I needed product, water, put it back, hairspray, more product, water. It took more time than like anybody
practice.
else. Yeah. So,
Tanya, can you check my hair from the back? Is it bad? Tell me honestly.
I have one point here where the hair stays straight backwards.
Yes, like, Tanya, check again. Is it bad? You didn't check well enough. It's like a girl, like it takes him more to do his hair than I'm doing my ponytail. He's like, Tanya, check again. Yeah.
So it's now I keep it more simple and better.
Speaking about practice, you're very agile, both of you.
What is agile? What does it mean?
You're flexible.
Ah,
You do the split and you're jumping over each other and landing in split. Do you practice a lot, or do you stretch a lot? or is it natural?
Well, in pandemics, I lost my skill a little bit. But now, after the war, I lost it even more and gained 5 kilos. But now I decided, okay, from this year, collect myself. So now every morning, I used to stretch during competitions regularly and do like physical exercises. Now I restarted doing it every morning, more or less. And after the practicing, that's about me. So
For me, I'm usually it's a very bad joke, but whatever. I feel the modern society, they get offended by anything you say anyway. So whatever, I'll go for it. It's a bad joke, but still, I usually say that I will end up in a wheelchair before I'm 50. And why I say that is because like I do all these crazy things, but I never prepare for it. I never warm up. I never stretch. It's working. It's been working the whole time. I'm getting close to 30 now, and I have a little concern that I might start to regret it soon. You know? So she's taking care of her body and always has, and will be fine.
I feel the same.
She will be
as
dancing till she's
20 years
100. I hope I will, but I doubt. I doubt I will. Yeah.
There are wheelchair dance too.
Yeah, it's true. It's quite big.
I
so
will
maybe,
lead you.
maybe that will be the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You have to practice a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it
But
helps
you're
us to be.
practicing by jumping. So Sondre
That's
is
true.
practicing these things by doing them, but
Yeah.
he's not prepare. You're not really preparing
true.
yourself like in advance, like doing push-ups, excessive, I don't know, exercises. Or...
But it for sure helps me to be so tiny and light. I'm quite convinced of it. I'm not gonna name drop anyone here, but I know other leaders from the scene, like much taller and heavier, that told me they did splits just in the competitions. They weren't able to even do it on the practice. It was pure adrenaline doing it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I can, if I want now, I can jump in the split here, do 10 splits in this jeans, no problem for me. Because it's like, I'm very easy and light. So in that sense, it helps.
See,
But at the same time, to be bigger can help you more. In acros, for example, I would wish to be heavier. Because if we try certain acros, like I fly away, I cannot hold Tanya back. You know? And that has nothing to do with her weight. That's just me being too light. So yeah, it depends. But
I'm happy you never put it on.
But no injuries or something like that.
No, we okay. Sometimes we, I mean,
Except the bumps in the head.
yeah. Well, injuries usually come in the most stupid way. You know, this is the funny. Like today, for example, I managed to twist my neck by stepping on the weights to measure my weight in the morning, and I was so excited that I did this. And now I hardly can move my neck to the right, you know? And that's how we usually injure ourselves.
finally, it's not my fault.
No, it's not your fault. But sometimes you also come and like, oh, I have a stiff shoulder, and we have no idea where it comes from. Maybe it was the practice. Maybe you slept in a bad position. I don't know. But the biggest injuries are coming in the sleep, in the most stupid moments where you actually just, you know, eating chips, watching movie, and suddenly you broke your leg, you know? That's how I injure myself. Usually.
But I think we can say fairly that we had very, very few injuries.
Yes.
Like almost nothing. I almost ripped off, I don't know what it's called in English, but like the muscle
Hamstring?
here.
Yeah.
Hamstring. Fully once, almost. But it went fine. So sometimes I have, it's not like a pain, but I can feel that, okay, it happened something here, but nothing bad. Other than
You
that,
will feel it when you're 50.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It will come back. But for now, we didn't have any injuries. Tanya bumped her head
Here on his bone here.
a few times.
Very painful
One
bone.
time, she threw me on my neck in the banana.
Not neck back. Come on.
I was landing on the neck and then back.
Wait, no. You weren't.
Yes, I was.
No, you weren't.
But it
you
was
were
not-
supposed to land
But
on the neck,
it was
but
not
you
painful.
didn't.
No, but I mean, like we had a very few moments where like it
It was really, really dangerous. Yeah.
it looked very dangerous. Could have gone bad, but it went fine. So
But the banana flip, you must have been practicing and flipping bad sometimes.
the thing with this banana flip is that like I always wanted to be a snowboarder as well. I was a terrible snowboarder, but I wanted to be. So I jumped a lot of trampoline. We always had a trampoline in the garden during the summers, and I did a lot of backflips like this. And then before we started to dance, like again, shout out to my crazy father. He was just like, "Let's try it on the grass." I was like, "Yeah, why not?" So he just like threw me up, and I did it. And I did it. It's called banana
Your
because
way.
of the bend, and I landed like boom perfectly. And that's how it started. And then I tried it. We tried a few preps with Tanya, and then
On the mat?
Then she threw me around. I landed perfectly, and that's it. And then we've just done it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And
That's how talented Sondre is. Seriously, we didn't
talented or lucky, because I just throw myself behind and I just land every time.
But he is very bendy in this area. So if you like see him from the from the side, Sondre can bend his chest like this, and that's why he can use it for this banana flip. If it's a normal person, without this,
there is something
this
wrong.
special bend in the chest, I think it would not. You would be just flying like this, but like this bend gives the effect and gives the string to fly around. I think so.
But it's funny because like the name banana flip actually comes from one of the best acrobatic rock and roll leaders in the world. And like when Boogie Woogie and acrobatic rock and roll, they used to have a lot of competitions together because it's the same federation. And the rock and roll guys, they used to love this banana flip. And he called it banana flip for the fact that the technique from an acrobatic rock and roll perspective is horribly wrong. Because you're supposed to go up and then crop. Yeah. What I do, I just throw myself to death, you know what I mean? Yeah. So they were cheering because it looks spectacular, but he told me, it's the banana flip. And the technique, by the way, is completely wrong, but I like it.
Yeah, you're flying like banana.
Yeah, so that's where it came.
And that's why banana flip, it's a good name. You're like, yeah.
And if you have done it correctly, it haven't been Boogie Woogie.
That's true. Yeah. And then, but the idea was actually, you might know Pontus Spelmans, which is like a good friend of me, same generation, known him for forever.
He's a friend.
Oh yeah, good friend. Very
real
good
friend.
Yeah. We,
one of two. You have no real friends, you said.
Oh, okay. True.
Gotcha.
Got me. Oh, I have some friends again. Yeah. No, he's a good friend, and we grew up in the boogie scene together, and he also did the backflip. And we both had the same idea, like we should step up the game, and we should do backflip into the split.
Ooh.
I tried, but I did it halfway, and I was like, no, this is too dangerous. It's dangerous if I will keep on moving and break my leg. Yeah. He tried it once, but he said like it was one time. Never again. I'm not gonna tell you what he told me how it felt like, but it was bad. So that was the idea, to step up, but no, it was too stupid. So.
But you dance Boogie Woogie, and you dance Lindy Hop, and competed in Lindy Hop too? No. What is the difference between Boogie Woogie and Lindy Hop?
It's my book, which is coming out when I'm super old.
We can try to keep it short. You can tell your point of view. I just wanted to start by saying that I think this is an interesting question, and the answer would be completely different 10 years ago than it is right now.
Yeah.
Because without going too much into the scene and everything, but what I see right now is that like you have Lindy Hoppers claiming that they dance Lindy Hop and then they dance Boogie. And then you have boogie dancers claiming they dance boogie and they dance more Lindy. It depends on the eye looking, but it's blending. So mixed. Mm-hmm. And then you have a very new trend now as well, where we get to hear and we get to feel and we get to see that a lot of swing Lindy Hop dance parties seems to be, not everyone, but quite many, at least in Europe, they're quite tired of jazz and swing music. So they have started to dance Lindy Hop on rhythm and blues music, which makes, in many cases, the dancers move more like a boogie rhythm because it's more boogie related. So it's very mixed right now, and that's why it's so hard to answer the question. But of course there are a few differences.
Well, the differences are clearly felt by the students, especially those who dance Lindy Hop purely. What we clearly felt it in Mexico right now when people come and when they take boogie class from us, and they're like, we clearly feel the difference. So there is a difference. But of course, these are two dancers coming from the same ancestor. Like we all came from the same ancestor, different people. Yeah. It's the same with these two dances. So Boogie Woogie is what is Lindy Hop? Lindy Hop. Well, I will refer to the words of Peter Loggins because he really described it very well for me in a few points. So originating, let's say. So Boogie Woogie is the European dance made in Germany after the war and developed there, which took its roots from the Lindy Hop and jazz swing dancing of America. And Lindy Hop, as we know it today, is the dance that developed constantly developing, let's say, from the 20s, 30s, from America, from the black people, and then of course spread around America, and also which was taken over also by different cities and layers of the society. Boogie Woogie is line oriented, so you dance it in the line. Lindy Hop, you don't really have a structure of the line in its dancing, even though right now recently in Boogie you can change the line, but mainly it's line oriented. If you ask people in the 80s, for example, Lindy Hop is an 8 count dance, Boogie Woogie is a 6 count dance. But if you ask people in 2022, 23, it's not anymore like this, because every move is borrowed and stuff like that. Then Boogie Woogie is triple step oriented dance. Lindy Hop is, well, it has triple steps, but it's not so natural. Again, it's not so natural for fast Lindy Hop. Usually we see it when the tempo goes up. So when the tempo goes up, the triple steps in Lindy Hop tend to disappear much more. People go more to the Charleston kicks, and that's again
or skip steps.
Or skip steps. That's according to Peter Loggins, again the origin of Lindy Hop.
But
it was not.
But that's also.
But that's Savoy style.
Yeah, but
he was saying about Savoy.
I would
style,
still claim and say that that's pretty much true also today. When you look at most Lindy Hoppers that will call themselves Lindy Hoppers dance fast, you would see more skip steps and more Charleston orientated steps than in Boogie, where you would see more triple steps. And this is another. This is one of the few major differences, but it depends which Lindy Hopper you ask.
Yes, of course. We say like roughly. Now we don't want to say that this is like how it is for every single dancer.
But still the triple in Boogie fast, maybe it's coming from competition, I don't know, but you have the weight shift is different than in Lindy.
The pendulum effect.
The pendulum, exactly.
Yes, so if you take triple steps still from Lindy and Boogie, the Boogie's triple steps are more pendulum, pendulum, like you go in and out, classically, let's say, and Lindy Hop triple steps, they're going more like a metronome, I would say, that you put like lean. So Lindy Hop is a metronome triple steps, Boogie Woogie is a pendulum triple steps, I would say it like this. What else?
You can say the preparation, but again, this is very individual, but if you go into the technique, you can say that like slower tempo, Lindy Hoppers, they would tend to do rock step. So that means that if they would do like a 6 count move, let's say a change of place, they would then stay closer on the 5 and 6, meaning the second triple step, to be able to do the rock step, which is a stretch. While in Boogie, you would see that the stretch will come on 5 and 6, and then you will tend to lead forward either on 1 or 1 and or 1 and 2. Yeah. So like the stretch on the second triple step or the last triple step, in most cases, are a little different.
So all the preparations of the figures come earlier.
In Boogie.
And that also is very feelable, again, if the intermediate level follower from Boogie Woogie who never danced Lindy Hop will dance from the intermediate level student of Lindy Hop, for example, far away, who never danced Boogie, most probably the leader would say that the follower is running forward by herself all the time, or by himself, like it's just not comfortable because the followers are too fast for the Lindy Hoppers. That's what we hear as teachers. And again, for the followers, it's not enough preparation because they're searching on the last triple step, like they are ready, come on, let's get this counterbalance, but it's not there because it has to come gradually on, let's say, on count 1 and 2. So these are the main differences.
And of course, in most cases, if you look at it like the music, Lindy Hop, it's mostly swing jazz. Boogie Woogie is mostly rock and roll, rhythm and blues, Boogie Woogie. One thing, I will share it.
Why not?
Haters gonna hate, right? So I would say that if you look at the community, I still want to start by saying that maybe the fact is the size different, because the Boogie Woogie community for now is way smaller, worldwide speaking, than the Lindy community. But what we feel ourselves, what we hear from, huh?
Bounce is also different.
Yeah, take it.
But it comes from the music.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So it's okay. It's fine. Now I forgot what I was saying. Yes. Speaking of community, and we get to hear it from very many people. I have no problem. I'm honest. Like you tend to see that at most boogie woogie parties or events, people are more easygoing and they are not scared to make fun of themselves. For example, if they mess up something or if they do something silly, people laugh and this is fine. This is enjoyable. While in some cases in the Lindy community, you feel it's more serious. It's a bit more like more serious, snobbish a little bit. And it's not everywhere, but again, like I'm not getting on anyone. I'm just comparing the cases. At the same time, I have no problem admitting that in some places in the boogie woogie parties, it's turning a little bit too silly, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So you have extremity like you have everywhere.
But that's what we heard from the students themselves.
From the students,
so everything we tell, we collect this knowledge as experience as well at our own, let's say, investigation and watching around. And these, for example, about snobism of the communities, it comes from the students all over the Europe and the world. We hear the same things. And again, of course, it's not everywhere, but what we feel as well when we take part in certain events and when there is boogie and Lindy mixed, Lindy Hop, even teachers, they tend to make fun of boogie woogie.
That's true.
Dance. Like if for example, if you tell like a couple to, okay, show me boogie woogie, they most probably not show some 6-count swing out, which is a super hard figure to do. They will not show some crazy acro. They will show like this and some silly funny moves. And the feeling from this is usually a little bit more like making fun, like, oh yeah, this is a nice silly addition of the dance which is Lindy Hop, and Boogie Woogie is like a little brother that is there being like, a bit stupid sometimes, but we take it, we are fine with him being here around, silling around. But as long as boogie dancers kick ass, then they are hated in the Lindy Hop community. That's what I feel, because there are many boogie woogie dancers.
I think it's
coming up there.
It's getting better now,
not being accepted.
But it
was like this in 2000s, I think.
Not everywhere, but yeah, I agree on this. Like you could clearly feel it, and it depends where you go. But that's true. It's getting a little better. But
that's again my own perception of how I saw things, because I'm not in the community, but how I saw it outside. How I talked. Some people also told this, and. It does feel it. Like I also feel it in certain events that Lindy Hoppers are more like, not all. Again, it's important to repeat, not all and not everywhere. But I've never heard boogie woogie dancers being anyhow disrespectful to Lindy Hoppers, like anywhere. Lindy Hop, yes, it's a great dance. Always going to the roots. Also connected to the cultural thing. It's Black Lives Matters. It's a serious topic, It's like there is always a lot of respect towards Lindy Hop from boogie people that I heard. But from Lindy Hoppers, not always a lot of respect to boogie woogie dance as a self-sufficient, good quality dance. That's my experience, and I hope it will change with the time, maybe. But yeah. I hope it's okay to say it openly. You never know what you say and who gets offended somewhere,
I mean, but we also, what's important to be said is that we came to a stage, it's more like we will not go into this, but we got accused of some stuff, we got it spoken about, we're big on social media, like, so there will always be some people telling, and I also came to the point where more like, I don't care so much anymore.
You cannot make everyone happy.
You cannot make everyone happy, and I think it's important to be honest, because some points Tanya is making is true, but again, it depends, of course, the people and which event you go to. Another point, just to finish the whole Boogie Lindy thing, what is important to share from us is that like we dance both. We have most dance Boogie. I would still consider ourselves more of boogie woogie dancers than Lindy Hop. I'm sure there are some people that would say we don't dance Lindy, it's all boogie, which is totally fine. I respect that. But it's more like we dance some Lindy. We teach more at Lindy events now than we did before. So, but it's just important to just say it, that for the ones that are very more like, yeah, but these guys are more boogie, I totally get it. It's totally fair. It's just a question of what you personally, your personal feelings. So, but we like both.
Yeah, it's important to mention that these things about this kind of thing, they usually happen in the very old communities, old established communities where there are a lot of people. It's like, like an old person who is being a bit more grumpy. Because now we were in Mexico, for example, the community is relatively young, it's just 10 years old. And people like Lindy Hoppers, super open-minded. They want to learn everything. They want to learn Lindy Hop, Boogie Woogie, all together, mix it. Like, I've never experienced so open-minded.
Yeah, and
community.
modern swing
Yeah.
dancers are like that as well. I have to
Yes,
say the
modern
new
new people.
scene, they are crazy. They dance shag, balboa, boogie,
Yes.
lindy.
So new
anything.
generations are super open-minded
Yeah.
and nice. It's usually happening in these old communities, like very.
And I still
I
suspect
think
though,
so.
I still suspect that most people are actually open-minded and want to be open-minded. But then like like everywhere, you have a few heads that sticks out and that speak loud, and then nobody.
And then they press others
Then they press
to
others. So,
certain.
but still, we love both dances, and I still hope that we will come to a point where people.
Can
It's
dance
important to
everything.
care. It's very important to go into politics and stuff like this, but. I feel it's a little bit too much right now. Like we should dance and we should have fun and also focus on the
Yeah.
dance. Of course, it needs to be a safe space, obviously. And who would? And we should not have racism. I don't understand who would disagree on that. You know what I mean? Of course, we should
Yeah.
have it, obviously. But still, we also need to remember what the dance stands for, and it should be social. It should be
Easygoing,
easygoing and fun.
Fun,
Fun.
nice to each other,
That should be the first priority.
Yeah.
That was how it started.
Yeah,
and accepting.
Yeah.
Everyone can dance.
totally.
Yeah.
That's not what the judges told me. That everyone can dance.
Judges are there to judge you.
Oh.
They're judgmental.
We went to a competition and tried to dance our first Boogie Woogie competition.
Mm-hmm.
And they told us we looked a bit too Lindy Hop-ish.
Oh, that is a stereotype.
And I don't know what the difference was.
That's the thing. And then you have like, of course there will be different opinions, but like I always, now I will remember to say it. The most important phrase coming to Lindy and Boogie is that it's way more similarities than differences.
Yes.
That's the most important thing. And then, but you have, I've heard this as well, like more like you have some boogie judges, and this is a bad thing, I would say, from the boogie perspective, competition-wise,
Yes.
that they have judged certain couples down because like it's too much of Lindy. When you actually have in the international system and the rules right now, it says that we would appreciate if you bring inspiration from other dancers, such as Shag and Lindy. So it's pretty a double standard in my opinion.
Yeah, but
And
it's
swing
certain
dance is swing
people, a
dance.
few of them. It's not community. It's just a few
Yeah, I'm
judges
speaking
who-
judges now. I'm speaking judges.
Yeah.
So it's sad to hear, but I have to say I feel like most of the judges, like especially like in the the boogie competition, like internationally and nationally, like no offense, but I feel so many of them are really depressed. Like I don't see any joy of what they do. They just go there. They are so serious. Even after the competition, before they come, it's like they're supposed to judge a dance. What is dancing? It's fun, no?
Yes.
And they go there and they look more bored than the people in the office. This is my feeling, seriously. So it's like I don't quite get this kind of judge kind of thing.
strict.
It's very strict. But anyways, I am not a judge, so I don't know. But I feel some of them maybe they should find some more joy in it than they have.
Do you dance socially too?
Yeah, of course, a lot. Everywhere we go, we dance socially. That's a part of a job, let's say, but it's also the part of fun about that job, to dance socially. And that's also how I analyze people and create good classes, because I dance and sometimes that's what can be created now, not like I'm stealing figures from the people, but more like analyzing, okay, how this lead is like this is like this.
He's doing this wrong and this wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Tomorrow I'm going to teach him.
Yes, you dance with different people, different proportions. You understand different differences in anatomy. Like, okay, this person has longer arm. Then maybe what kind of technique we can use and what kind of class we can use to create better feeling for that kind of arm length, or the height difference between leader follower. Yeah, it's a lot of things.
But it's fun what you said there. Like I have several times like followers coming to me, they dance, then they come later at the dance party, they want to dance again. Then they come and they want to dance again. We dance like anything between 3 to 6 dances a night, which is it's fine. But then suddenly this has happened many times. And then after they come, when I'm standing in the bar or whatever, and I'm like, so please tell me, what can I improve? And I'm like,
oh my God,
come on, we're social dancing. I know we're teachers, we teach privates, but I don't want to think of what you should improve. I just want to have a good time with you, like dancing. So this is a bit strange, honestly, but it happens. I guess people just know us as instructors.
Yeah.
We also had once some leaders that they literally stopped Tanya on the dance floor to explain what it's really crazy.
Yeah.
But people are different, so. But no, coming back to your question,
Yes, a
it's
lot.
usually
We dance
at
socially.
least 1 or 2 social dances at every event we go to, most of the times. Yeah.
We have a serious question too.
Okay.
Okay. You are not together. You're not dating each other, or
Where is my ring, Sondre? Come on.
I'm still saving money for
Money
the
for
perfect
ring, yeah.
diamond ring.
No, the thing is that we grew up as friends, as dance partners, because I was married, so there was never an option to have any relationships, of course. And then I divorced, and then after that, people always were thinking that we are such a good match. Which is very funny for us, for example. Yes, and now when the war started, when I went to Dumbus, when we live so close to each other, the question is always there, like, are you together or are you going to be together? Maybe, you know. So at some point, I feel we even started asking ourselves this question, like, could we actually be together? You know, but then the fear comes, at least to me, that if we try to be a couple, we might actually ruin a lot of good things that we have as just partners and friends, because then, you know, if you break up as a couple, for example, then what do we do with the business? And yeah, how would we manage our relationships if we were a couple? So now we're on this at least I'm a little bit on this theoretical thinking point of view. Point. I don't know what Sondre thinks about it. Maybe he's
Now,
saving
we
money.
have secretly been married for 2 years.
No. Yeah, in Hawaii.
can you tell us again? I gotta cut it out.
No, I
I
mean,
already have it here.
Perfect.
no, it's a joke.
Yeah, it can be a
Keep
good
it, it's good.
reclama.
Then there
A
will
good
be some new
reclama, like a
story.
disclaimer, like thriller.
That's,
We've been secretly been married for 2 years. Sondre Tanya podcast. You will have trillion of views because everybody wants to see and to know everything, and we don't know ourselves if we ever gonna be together or not.
Yeah, no, I would say like I agree with Tanya, and what we can say for sure, we do love each other. There is no doubt. Like
Of
we
course.
care very much for each other. We in many cases I've heard this, like maybe it's a bad phrase for your podcast, I don't know, but I've heard many say that, you know, like if you're dancers, like these professional dancers, it's like a marriage,
Yeah.
but
Because
maybe without the sex, you know, it's a saying.
Maybe without the sex.
Maybe, of course, maybe. You never know. You never know.
No, but really,
There's always a maybe. No, but I mean, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's really good.
Bring up some jokes.
That's really good. No, but we really like love each other, care for each other, and never
Yeah,
say
we-
never. Like, I mean, what I can say is that if let's go a few years in the future, if we will end up getting married, it's not like we are gonna be shocked. No,
I will be shocked. I
no, I will not be shocked, and I don't think a lot of people around us will be shocked if that might happen. But it's a bit like Tanya said, like the consequence is that like we spend so much time with each
Yeah.
other, and one thing that is interesting is that like we have the dancing, right, and we have the travels all the time, but then also now we have the social media part, which is literally following us 24/7. So it's like of course we can put the phone away, we can turn off the notifications if we want to, but it's like, you know, like every time I have my phone, it's more like it can be a question, you know, like the question more like from YouTube, or there is something we have to fix. So no matter what, we cannot like, we love our job, but we can never escape each other. It's like Tanya, I need to call Tanya.
There is 24/7 all the time.
I got the phone now. Like they want us to come here. Can we? They need a question now. She calls like, oh, we got an email. Blah 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 blah. Oh, there was a very offensive comment about something. Should we delete it? Not, you know, these kind of things. Always. So if we would also be together and live together, we would literally be 110% together, which I think it could work, but at the same time, maybe not at all. That's the thing. So it's like, it's this kind of break.
Yeah, the fact we live separately now is, you come home finally. And even my psychologist, when I was working out after the war and stuff, she even told me at some point, it's hell much Sondre in your life. Like, meaning that my head is like it's busy with the war and stuff, but it's just busy with one person all the time, because it's the work, it's the leisure meaning traveling, you know, also sitting with you right now, speaking, preparing class, like everything is about Sondre, and fun as well. It's a lot of fun in our life, so it's just fun, but when the fun becomes job, so we are also each other's job, so we cannot know. And she told me also as well, because I asked her this question when at some point I'm like, could we actually be together? Would it be easier? Because can you imagine now for me find a boyfriend or for him find a girlfriend? It's no chance.
That's
like,
the point what I want to say. Like if I imagine one of us, like if we imagine that we want to keep the same, let's call it business then, going like it is right now, which we want,
this
because
type
we,
of life.
we really we enjoy it. We do our passion. It's great, and yeah, and it's our professional job. It's our only income. So of course we got to do what we got to do. And if we would keep that, and we both want to keep it, but then at the same time like have a healthy relationship with another person, maybe that would work for us. But would it work for these two? Not at all.
It's like this
For
is the
sure not at all.
constant question. My ex-husband was super easygoing. He's amazing, like actually as a person, because he's not jealous. He knew he's trustworthy. He's very self-confident, because jealousy is self-unconfidence. He knew we have good relationships. Yes, we grew apart a lot. Actually, because I travel a lot and we build up something here, like business, connection, and also this online always, you know, Sondre Tanya, you know, and that's why people think, oh, you must be together. But and then yeah, he let me go a lot, but he's one of like 1,000 people who could do that. I'm not sure that girls are even able to do that, even from the very beginning at all. Like if guys can be read, you know, this personality that is, but girls, Sondre tried to have girlfriends, but I mean, it's always Tanya there, you know, all pictures,
She
is
always,
like,
she always get angry, you know. So
me? No.
But wouldn't it be easier to be a couple? To be
And that's another
be
question.
together.
When we are too much together, we start killing each other. We need this, like killing, you know,
Yeah.
we start fighting a lot, and then
But
then he goes home
so we
to
can-
with
the
cows.
cows.
so we cannot answer this question.
We cannot.
Definitely need our space.
And
so,
still to define the question, like, are we in some way in a relationship still?
Yeah.
yeah, we are. because
We are. So it's like
we know each other
Yeah.
super much. We shared couches all over the world, forcibly or willingly. You know, we flirt with each other. I don't know what else makes you
Then
connected.
it's no problem.
Yeah, like it's no problem.
I asked her for the 2 years if she's farting. She said no.
No, I
But,
don't. No, I don't.
It's just butterflies, though. But
Come on.
Ukrainian butterflies.
No, but seriously, like we are so, connected.
It would be very to say it this way. It would be super easy to become together. It would. It's not like we need to get to know each other. You know.
I need a ring.
Need a ring. Done.
I'm only after marriage.
Of course.
I'm very serious.
Need a ring and that's it. So it will be settled. But it's hard. It's really hard to answer the question. And like Tanya said, we have also been through obviously like a marriage before. Been through a pandemic. We have been through also a war. And without going very much into details, but that has also caused a lot of hard times between us. Like we said earlier, we had half a year apart. Wasn't easy. So it's like,
But
it's
it also
been,
showed a lot. Like
That's true.
we've been through so much hard
That's true.
times, competitions, practices, everything, personal dramas, divorcing. Like Bogdan was half a year almost like getting invalid status because of the corona. I didn't tell it that, but it was another terrible half a year for me. Like for Sondre, his own things. Like we've been through a lot together, and we stood. We still are. And we actually became stronger together. We solve problems faster. We are, like we said in the beginning, now we can't even fight or stress about something, but we still have each other. So that's a very strong relationships. But for example, I asked Sondre, what if I become a lazy butt and I don't want to dance anymore? I am like this. I'm getting tired, and maybe I decide to go and do cartoons again in Oslo. Will you be there with me still? Like, do you actually like me apart from dancing? Because I love museums, reading, and all the boring stuff that he hates. He loves football and all the fun stuff that I don't hate the fun stuff, but like, you know, what else connects us? And I have no idea.
That's a good question. But yeah, it's hard
No
to
idea.
answer, but we gotta admit we don't do it on purpose. But for the social media, I mean the people that don't know us personally, it's perfect. You know, it's
It's
amazing,
intrigue.
and they
We
love
don't
it.
live together.
There are
but
some
we
comments saying more like, Sondre, what are you waiting for? Get down on your knees right away.
And it's even one person from the USA. He told us, keep the intrigue as long as you can. That makes you very popular. And but we actually don't keep it on purpose. We don't know ourselves. The intrigue is just there. So yeah.
So
We will see.
And now suddenly we're in Norway, and we're most probably gonna stay in Norway as well. We're gonna move
Maybe I
somewhere.
will go to Africa. I don't know yet.
Maybe you never know with Tanya. She's open-minded. But yeah, it's that was a very long answer and not a precise one, but that's the truth, basically.
Yeah. We recently started asking ourselves the same question as you ask: are we able to be together or not? And that can be like a thumbnail with a question mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's-
Interesting question.
Yeah.
Maybe
but we get the question. I would dare to say every day.
Yes.
Every day. And I get it. I mean, it's not like
I
we
would
are.
be asking it myself.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I fully understand that people ask, and a lot of people are convinced. I have so many people that are more like, you guys are together. I was like, no, weren't they? Liar. You know, I know.
But we are together 24/7 for the recent months, all the time.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I have an easier question for you. What does dance passion mean to you?
Dance passion. To be free in who you are. That's dance passion means to me.
It's a good question. I always, since it's so much dancing for me, you know what I mean, like all the time, and I love it. But at some point it gets a bit too much, and you get a bit tired, and you want to have something else. But then every time, you know, like I end up at a social dance party, preferably to a live band, and you dance like with a nice follower. It can even be a beginner, it doesn't matter. But you just connect in that moment to the music. You're there. You're in a good mood, and you just feel the music, the dance, and just the joy and the freedom that Tanya says. This is dance passion to me.
Full
Really.
freedom to be yourself.
So, and there is something very, very weird about this kind of swing dance community and the festivals. It's like you go there, and there is some natural drug feeling about it, if you know what I mean. Like you just have to
The
be
drive.
there to experience it. You know, the drive. It's something very special that you have to just experience. You can watch a movie and a clip, and you can enjoy it, but you have to be there to actually feel that energy. So that's dance passion for sure. And I mean, working with Tanya, of course. I mean, like we really we fight. We can discuss, but like
That's passionate.
what
It's
we-
a Mexican
No,
movie.
but what we have together, I mean, like, of course, like I said, I'm pessimistic, but like the milestones that we reach, and sometimes it's not like we don't even know that this will be a milestone, but it's more like, you know, the stuff that we work together and it's working so well. We don't feel we deserve all the credit we get or whatever, but this is also dance passion, what we have, our business. And I would say, like, people tell us that we have become a brand, you know, Sondre and Tanya, which I in some way can really agree on. So our brand has also, of course, become a dance passion to me, for sure.
And your nearest plans besides this weekend? You going to Chicago, you said?
First Rock That Swing,
Yeah, rock
then
the
Eurodance
Swing.
Festival,
Eurodance.
and then Chicago.
No,
Then Italy.
Yeah.
And from Italy we go to Chicago.
After pandemic,
In 1
we
month.
were too excited, so we
You can
accepted.
imagine, huh?
We accepted too many requests. We're super lucky to have a lot of requests, but we accepted a little bit too much.
Was post-pandemic fever, I would say.
So
Yeah.
no, it's a lot of events, some cool trips, and we also have a lot of very nice ideas for social media. It's just
After
that-
Chicago.
After Chicago.
After
So
Mexico.
all about dancing. Still, yeah.
And the proposal.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I just need the money.
Yeah.
I need the money to buy our house in Oslo, otherwise she will be pissed. And I need the money.
wedding gift.
And I need a
And the
ring.
ring, no.
The ring, yeah, the expensive diamond shaped in the letter T.
I will not be surprised if Sondre just organizes like, a money donation collection for Tanya's house in Oslo, because he feels it's like a dream. Let's get Tanya out of
I think it's
Dombås.
cheaper to get a small plane and a license. Yeah.
That is true.
Or a private train.
Yes.
The speedy one.
The speed one, yeah. So no, but it's exciting. I mean, we enjoy life. It's super nice. I mean, we get to do our passion, and Tanya is a bit she's not so happy with my saying of what we do. But I have always said that what we do, it's important, absolutely. It feels like it's getting more important now for the health of people. You see people that struggle with dementia, like for them, dance, music is important. So sure, I'm not saying that dance is not important, but I would still say that I've always said that I have never had a proper job. Because for me, a bad day in my job, that's like showing up a little sleepy in class, which is, and I still have a blast, you know what I mean? And this is like, for most people, like they dream of living off their passion, which we get to do every day. So
and travel around the world.
Yeah, travel
meeting
around,
people that are happy.
And like, even though it's our job, but yeah, we travel around for free. We get everything paid
I
for.
actually want to stay home a little bit more. Like right now.
In Dombås.
Even in Dombås.
She's so tired that she started to like Dombås, you know.
I really started to like Dombås after so much traveling, but also with my son, like even right now he's waiting for us in the room, watching his videos. He has a blast because he has me nearby, but I'm not too much, perfect mom amount. But still, like me, I understand that I'm having this last maybe 3-4 years before he becomes this proper teenager who will say just bye-bye, I am out. And for me, I'm like, oh no, I have to catch this time. And then, of course, I'm choosing, and I'm not blaming anyone. It's my responsibility. I'm choosing to travel that much. And then we have this guilt again, like if I stay home, I will put down Sondre. But now I started doing it actually more. Go teach with someone else, I'm staying home. It's too much for me. So I started putting clear boundaries, and that feels much better right now.
Sounds like your marriage.
Yeah, exactly. I'm more like, you out, I'm with a kid, and it's amazing. Yes. You see, we are there already.
Conclusion is the ring is lacking. That's the conclusion of the whole podcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's true.
Now we're gonna let you go to your son. And we are gonna see you tomorrow.
I didn't
Yes.
make any hints on that. I just mentioned it. So
No, but we have been talking for almost 2.5 hours.
Oh my God.
yeah.
So the dinner did not happen with the guys. That's not your fault. That's but we told you before we like to talk. So
Yes.
Yes, you will cut a lot of
No.
pieces. No. Yeah.
I think it's been a great time.
likewise,
Definitely.
thank you so much for having us on your podcast.
Yeah,
Your
thank you
beautiful
so
podcast. It's a nice one.
Thank you. And I hope we didn't destroy anything between you now.
No,
When you-
no. No,
It's-
maybe some
it's-
people
it's
will judge
it's
our
impossible.
sayings.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
Some people might judge us how we speak about Boogie Lindy different. Some people might judge us how we speak about the war. Some people, that might be. But otherwise...
Like I said, feel free to judge us. You cannot satisfy anyone,
Yeah.
everyone anymore.
No.
So if you want to judge, it's okay. But we're just being honest. And if anyone has any questions related or disagree, we're totally open to have a talk. But then the talk has to be normal, and it should not be someone hiding behind some fake name and behind their computer, because that's the case most of the cases. Then show up face to face and let's talk in a calm manner, and then you can talk about it. But I think most of the people honestly agree with what we said. So, but anyways, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes.
And thank you for listening and watching our episode with Sondre and Tanya. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.